Hey everybody, and welcome back to Quiett Gentleman Entertainment and the Illuminated Page. I know who I am and what I'm doing, but I don't have my freaking... How did I planned really well. I don't even have my notebook. It's okay. So, tonight we're going to be playing Call of Cthulhu. Listen, when you get old like me, and you've been gaming for years, you realize after you start something that you forgot everything.
Of course.
So, be prepared for that. So, we're going to be playing Call of Cthulhu tonight, like always, every fortnightly Thursday, opposite of a bunch of ninjas doing ninja things. And tonight, just as a reminder, we are playing in the 1920s, so some of the NPCs, maybe some of the PCs, are going to be a little inappropriate for modern times, but quite appropriate for the 20s. We'll keep that to a dull roar, mostly, but it will come up most likely. With me tonight, I've got Shawn Parks?
Parks.
Jeez, OP. You're playing Aaron Lockhart.
Yes.
I don't have my notes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know people's names.
I was going to say, it's been almost 6 months since we started this stream.
He got my first name right.
He did.
Yeah, but
he didn't call
all
you
I
Aaron.
see is Aaron Lockhart, and that's what I want to call him. That's the only thing I want to call him.
That's okay.
Plural playing singular.
Yeah. I've got Roxanne Thompson playing Ms. Jewell Rumtree.
Hello.
David McFarland playing Professor Dalphus Hardgrove.
Are you going to say anything, David?
Yeah.
He waved.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, he waved. And as always, John Thompson playing Bobby Boom Boom Blackwood.
That's right.
Last time we left you guys, you were bunkered down in France after a rough time in London. Let's start with the letter. I hear, Aaron, you're writing a letter.
Yeah, so one of my main connections are my parents. And so
Sure.
I left New York rather abruptly. So out of character, part of my character development was I wrote a letter explaining what's been going on, kind of like a recap and justifying our actions.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So wrote this on February 11th, 1925. Dear Mom and Dad, I know I left New York without giving you a lot of information other than I was on a case. The first thing you should know is that I'm in Europe again and safe, at least for the moment. It's funny. I really never expected coming back here after the war, and if I did make it back, I didn't think I'd be dodging bullets. Sorry if I scared you, Mom, but you know that my investigations can be dangerous, and this one seems more so than usual. It all started when I got word from a client of mine. You might remember him. Jackson Elias. Anyway, he contacted me sounding a little out of sorts about the ill-fated Carlyle expedition. Dad, you might remember when that happened in the 1919. It was all over the papers when all the members were declared to be lost, including Golden Boy Robert Carlyle. It seems that some members of the expedition are not dead, and Jackson had proof that apparently cost him his life. You see, when I went to his hotel to meet him with Bobby, you remember young Robert Blackwood, Professor Hardgrove, and his assistant Jewell Rumtree, we found out poor Jackson murdered in his hotel room. I'd like to say that Jackson's death was quick and clean, but they butchered him. Violence that I haven't seen since the war. This was true evil at work. The professor and I, which he's very capable in a fight, were able to stop one of those men. Well, stopped really isn't true. He was killed in the struggle, but we stopped him. His death and the notes that he left created a grim narrative about death cults and some kind of conspiracy. The clues that we found in New York led us to more of these death cultists right here in the city, if you can believe that. They tried to kill us, and we were more than capable of dealing with them, but we found more questions than answers. And all we truly know were cultists were at large, and it looked like we needed to go to England. This turned into a murder and a missing person investigation. I need to cut the rest of this short because if word gets out what we have been doing, we could get in deep trouble because the rest of the story sounds like it's straight out of a pulp magazine. Let's just say what I've seen in New York and England is some of the creepy, spookiest things I've seen since the war. Things that haunt you. Things that haunt you from how very strange and terrifying it is, how your mind cannot accept what it saw as real. That is what we're seeing and experiencing as we search for the truth. I've been severely injured by an artist in the throes of his own madness and beliefs, power-hungry men that resort to fear and violence, almost killing the professor, to keep whatever power that... Resorting to fear and violence, almost killing the professor to keep whatever power they want. The four of us have witnessed things that can only be described as magic, and it has shaken us to our very core. I am safe at the moment, and I want to share with you one thing that keeps me going, and we're doing good. We all had different reasons for starting out on this journey, but all of it boils down to doing good. Our journey to England was to meet with Edward Gavigan, the director of the Penhew Foundation. During our time, we discovered a string of murders that all seemed to tie back to the death cult that Jackson was looking into. Gavigan and a man called Tufik al-Sahid were members and actually leaders of this death cult. We put a stop to both of them and exposed all of this to Scotland Yard, blowing it all wide open. I know it's been all over the papers here, but I'm not sure if it's there yet, but just so you know, when Scotland Yard says they're handling it, they're actually just cleaning up what we solved. We found proof that Gavigan was ultimately responsible for Jackson's death, so that issue is at a close. Hopefully the people in London will be safer now that the cult there is in shambles. All I know is that we did a lot of good, and that's what helps me sleep at night and deal with what I've seen. I would like to say I'm coming home soon, but I'm not. While Jackson's murder has been solved, we still have to find out what really happened to the Carlyle expedition, since we have proof that not only one, but two other members of that party are still alive. My gut tells me more deaths will happen and something more sinister is coming than if we stop the search now. But for now, I rest in peace, or I rest in Paris, drinking coffee at a cafe, thinking of you both at home. If something happens to me, please know I love you both. What I'm doing is for all of us. It's for the greater good, and that's good for me. P.S. You both know that I can't stop if I think someone's in trouble, and this cult is trouble. PSS, PSS, or PPS, however you do the second postscript. When I get home, I'll tell you, Dad, all about the odd details and everything I've seen, but I didn't want to write it out here because Mom will lock me away in a sanitarium when we come home. Your loving son, Aaron.
Nice. Rest in peace.
Yeah, sorry.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. Paris and peace look nothing alike, but for some reason it came out as peace.
Well, you've already talked to us about your handwriting, so maybe they do look alike.
No. Brain was reading too fast.
I got
right
you.
on. So you send that off to your parents.
Yep.
Jewell's made a phone call. Bobby has also sent back a letter. You sent one back to your family lawyer, right,
yes.
Bobby?
Yes, I did.
Kind of in case of my untimely demise situation.
Untimely demise, requesting funds, and something along the lines of there is no proof that of any of the crimes I am accused of.
Wow, that doesn't
Nice.
sound guilty at all.
No.
He's my family lawyer. He'll defend me.
He's got money. He's safe. Don't
That's
worry
all he
about
wants to know is, can they tie you to it? Nope. All right, then we're good.
So fantastic. You guys have another half week or so before we're going to do our second healing roll. Where are you guys headed from here? I think is the big question. From
wait.
Aaron's letter, he stated very clearly that the next step is to figure out what happened with the Carlyle expedition.
Yeah.
At least my
But also there's
motivation,
been mention of specifically of Australia to track down Professor Crowley.
Cowles.
Bro?
Anthony
Okay.
Cowles.
Yeah, there you go.
I did remember, because I was saying before stream that I thought we would agree to go to Australia, but that at some point at the end of last stream, whether it was on stream or post stream, somebody had mentioned that if we're looking into the Carlyle expedition, we should probably go to Egypt because it's closer.
Yeah, that might have been me.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
if we want to do that before we hop on a slow boat to Sydney.
I mean, I'm fine with that, but I think the whole reason we're going to Australia is just so we could talk to an expert on death cults.
Sure, and I agree. I agree
and I think
with
that'll
that.
support,
Yeah, it's just it'll take 3 weeks, right, to get there, and then 3 weeks to get back. If we would decide, I mean, we're gonna have to do it eventually, unless we go from Australia to Shanghai, and then find a way across the continent.
Yeah.
I don't know what's faster, finding a way across the continent or.
Well, I mean, the Orient Express is legitimately a thing right now.
Yeah, so I mean, we could essentially.
Yeah, because nothing bad ever happens on the Orient Express.
Hey, you know what? Agatha Christie isn't a thing yet. No, it probably is.
Actually, there's a
she
whole giant module called Horror on the Orient Express,
Yeah.
and we could play that in the middle of this. That would be great. No one would survive.
No, I don't want to just ask for. I mean,
Not
my
yet.
characters are already going to die. I don't want to lose them so fast. Or I don't want to lose them on a freaking side quest like we've tried to do already.
Poor Bobby.
Poor Bobby.
Yep.
Poor Aaron.
Uh,
Aaron in his face.
So let's look at healing again. Unless you guys have anything else pressing to do for the rest of that half week.
No, Jewell would probably just be saying, we should probably we need to be considering our options, and Egypt. We could make a stop in Egypt and then boat out from, I don't know if Cairo's a port, but wherever we could leave from, and then go to Australia.
What's on a river?
But actually, the port is Port Said, and then you take about a half day train ride back down to Cairo,
Nice. Okay.
which the professor would know.
Okay.
One thing I'm going to be interested in is getting some better weapons, or at least more of them at this point, because I'm like, it's Africa, and pardon me for, this is one of those un-PC moments, but big game hunting is big, and maybe we can get some bigger guns.
Ooh, elephant rifle.
So
How are we gonna just?
there are
like,
two
walk into-
ways to handle that.
I think that would be better when we're.
Well, you can buy them here, which is going to be a little harder. Not that you can't, just that it's not going to be the same kind of. You're going to have to outfit yourself, and it takes time. The other thing you could do is, the professor probably has contacts in Cairo. He could send ahead a note.
Absolutely.
Saying, "Hey, we need to be outfitted with these things. Please purchase those on my behalf and have them ready when I arrive." And that would be actually very appropriate for the time.
See, I was gonna say it's probably easier to get big guns like that in a location where you would use those big guns than it would be to get them in Paris or France.
Yeah.
And then transport them, but because, then we don't have to worry about, hey, why are you carrying an elephant gun or whatever it is, and be like,
Well, what happens when an elephant gets on the boat?
yeah, that, I don't know. Maybe that is,
Don't say never.
yeah.
There's a lobster loose.
So did we decide, are we going to Egypt first, or are we going to go to Australia first and then work our way back?
It's officially.
What does the map look like?
Yeah,
I
I'm
suck
calling up a
at-
map right now.
Yeah.
It's got
Because
land
we are really
water.
okay. You zip it, sir. Because it's really, relatively, really close. Like we could just pop down there, ask some questions, and then get on another boat and go to Australia.
I'm looking for travel times. Give me just a second. 'cause
Ideally,
they're-
yes, we could, but just given the way things have gone, popping into Egypt might not be just popping into Egypt.
Well,
we might
I
get ourselves into
understand
another
that
hornet's
too.
nest.
From Southampton to Port Said is 3 days. So realistically, you're probably going to be still 3 days because you'd have to take a train to the southern coast of France and take a boat from there. But from where you're at to Darwin, which is where the book suggests, you're looking at about 2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe a little longer.
And that's Port Said to Darwin.
From Port Said to Darwin, hold on, Is still 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I mean,
basically, Darwin and Shanghai are going to be way over there.
Yeah. I just wonder if it wouldn't hurt to. We got that letter, or we saw that letter that was written to Aubrey from presumably Gavigan or someone.
Yeah.
It didn't list where that was going at all. It just listed there was no like addressed envelope or anything like that, right?
No, I mean the manifest just showed two specific shipments going to Australia
That's right.
and
Darwin
to Shanghai.
and to Shanghai.
Right. And then the other thing was that we found out that Aubrey was still
And what do we
alive.
know about the cult? Like, where is the Bloody Tongue based? Kenya, right?
Kenya.
Yeah.
And then the cult here has been the cult of the Black Pharaoh, which is based very much in Egypt.
Cairo.
Or at least wouldn't make sense to be based there.
I was just saying, to me, it makes sense that we follow up on the cult of the Black Pharaoh, but I also think we need to go talk to the guy in wherever.
I don't know. I wish
You guys that are from New York, do you have anybody you could reach out to that might, or even you, Dalphus, since you are an educator, you couldn't possibly find out anything about his lecture in New York, could you? I mean, I know we could have done that when we were there, but do you think we could track down somebody, or someone there could track down somebody that went to that lecture and give us some points before we get on a boat and head all that way? I mean, we're going to have to go that way anyway, eventually, I guess, to go to Shanghai.
I had actually tried to find information on the lecture.
Had you? Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't remember. It's
No,
been long enough
yeah.
ago that
No, I tried.
Jewell and I are
tried to
awash
see
in
if any.
information.
I tried to go see if maybe one of the other professors in the area had gone and listened to it or something else, and really nobody had any notes, and it would have taken too much time at that point to track down
Yeah,
a
well, we
student
needed
who
to
had
get
attended.
out. That's true. All right. Well, I'll go wherever we determine as a group that we need to go. I'm not gonna be too fussed either way. I mean, what is the most conscientious of our situation? I mean, if there's a chance we're going to end up in Kenya, do we want to go to Australia and Shanghai to deal with that before we end up in Africa and Egypt?
Well, okay, so the picture that I got, and Dalphus, I think you said it. It showed a mountain in Egypt. It showed a mountain, right? That's one of the things.
No, the mountain was in
Kenya.
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 Does anybody else get a feeling that something's going to happen? Like something's coming?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I think that's.
Your phone.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just heard a noise. But no, I 100% feel like something is coming. But that's.
Do y'all think we got a time limit on that? I mean,
I don't know. They're working awful hard for something. I mean, did we find anything in that under cellar that would indicate that they were doing? Are they just like cultist mafia guys that are just shipping crap everywhere, or does it seem like they're gathering components or something?
I'm gonna have everybody give me an intelligence check, but it's gonna be hard.
Okay.
Got nothing.
16. Which is.
I hope that's under your.
That is a hard or an extreme success.
I rolled a 7.
Wow.
Nice.
Jeez.
I am going to. Well, you know what? They've already got extreme successes. I've got a regular success, but I could essentially use luck to take it down to a hard.
I don't know that it's worthwhile.
That's what I was. Two of us have gotten extreme successes. I'm hoping that the information is forthcoming anyway.
Yeah. So looking at the ledger, which you guys don't have, but you copied a lot of the information out and you had a little bit of time with it.
Didn't we take a book with us?
You left.
We left it
specifically
for
left the ledger for
Barrington.
Barrington.
That's correct. That's correct. My
So, from the ledger, it looks like what's going on is that things are coming in and out of. We're coming in and out of the Meisner house, but not necessarily. This wasn't like the head of whatever was going on. This was more like the home, like the storage unit. Like this is where they sent stuff they found.
Okay.
Because if you remember that workshop was also just chock full of crap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we looted some of it.
Yeah. So it's definitely they were involved, but they had points of contact across the world that were sending things back here. So whatever that means, it doesn't look like there was anything indicating anything here, other than Aubrey Pinhue of the Pinhue Foundation. Gavigan seemed to consider himself on the same level as, and Gavigan thought himself for here to be in charge.
Yeah.
So whoever's in charge, it sounds like it's probably Pinhue.
Okay. Cool.
So before we make a decision, so at this point we know of two distinct cults. We know the cult of the Bloody Tongue and the cult of the Black Pharaoh.
I guess Jewel's not convinced that they're different.
That's the conjecture that Aaron's coming to as well, that they're connected.
Yeah, because go ahead, Dalphus.
I was looking back over some notes here and research, and I was just kind of putting together that there was a reference to the many-faced god.
Yes.
So if it presumes to reason that if they all are worshiping the same many-faced god, they may just be one of the different faces giving the different names of the same cult.
Right.
Exactly.
Can I get an intelligence roll specifically from the professor?
Sure. 10.
Okay, and then can I get give me a Cthulhu Mythos roll, but then tell me if it's where it's at compared to your occult.
Okay. 23. Let me find it. Cthulhu Mythos. No, I've got a 4 in that.
Actually, everybody should gain 2 more points in Cthulhu Mythos just across the board.
Okay.
We're going to do that real quick.
Okay.
That does mean that the maximum amount of sanity you can get now goes down to from 100.
Okay.
So make sure you black out those boxes as well.
So because my Cthulhu Mythos was at 10, should I have already been at 90?
You should be at 89 actually, because 99 is as much sanity as you can ever have.
Oh, okay. So I should.
You can never be perfectly sane.
So I should be down to 87 now after.
Yeah.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
That's my luck. My bad. Never mind. I was right.
Yeah, I'm like,
okay.
My sanity's down to 43.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, this is the top end of your sanity potential.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind as well. So what you realize, Professor, and this is a rough realization for you, so you're going to roll sanity here in a second.
And a chicken.
In a chicken. Listen, I
chicken.
made barbecue chicken for dinner tonight. It was fantastic.
That sounds delicious.
It was really good. So what you come to realize is that you also remember a mention of the sand bat and other death cults, specifically tied to the Australian professor. And given that your roll was pretty low, I assume that's a hard success on your occult. That 23.
Hang on. Cult. Yes, hard success. 29 would be hard success. I got 23, so yep, just hit it.
Okay. So it sounds like the Bloody Tongue, the Black Pharaoh, and the Sand Bat are all the same. You could also guess that each one that you're going to run into is going to be regional. So Cairo had the Black Pharaoh. The Black Pharaoh coming here seems to have a lot to do with, honestly, London's love of Egyptology. Like, the world was very involved in Egyptology.
Yes.
The Bloody Tongue was specifically Kenyan immigrants that brought that over to New York. The Cult of the Sandbat is Australia, or at least the South Pacific. And you might be able to tie in a couple others if you really sat down and looked through some notes again that Jackson Elias has, but you'd have to spend time doing that. Go ahead and roll me a sanity check.
64.
That under?
79 sanity, so yes.
Okay, so you'll lose one.
All right.
As you come to realize that because of the global nature, if there's a group of people manipulating them on a larger scale, that could make a much more dangerous situation. So whereas people in Cairo might have parts of things, and people in Kenya might have parts of things, now they can communicate between each other in some fashion, which could make them dangerous, way more dangerous. One of the things that you found in reading is that a lot of cults, especially to these questionable gods, are small and don't communicate well with others, and that keeps them from becoming very powerful.
They don't play well.
Sounds like Jewell Rumtree.
So I guess the professor gets this kind of shocked aha look on his face. He's like, wait a minute, I have to look at something. And he goes to his bag and he pulls out a notebook, starts flipping through it, and is like,
don't worry, boys, he does this sometimes.
wait, no. And he pulls out another book and he starts flipping through the next book. He's like,
we're gonna be here a minute.
no, that can't be. He starts jotting some notes, pulls out another book. He's like, oh no, this is not good. This is not good.
Well, that's par for the course. Professor Hardgrove.
What exactly has made this situation any worse than it already is?
They're all connected. It's all the same.
So all these cults are different flavors of the same kind of god.
Yes, in a sense. From what I'm gathering, there's several of these cults all over the world. Australia, some that have notes on here from Australia and from Africa. They're all connected. They're all worshiping the same entity with different names. This is unprecedented. This is not normal. This is way too much global conglomeration under one entity. It doesn't bode well.
I mean, my grandmother used to tell me that, all roads lead to heaven. We're just on different roads. Is that what we're talking about here?
Okay.
Shut up, Shawn.
Imagine the influence that Christianity has had on the world.
Okay.
Not hard to do, sure.
That is because it is so widespread around the entire world. There are so many people all over the world with the same belief. So instead of our benevolent Jesus Christ in this example, think about this bloody tongue black pharaoh thing having the same type of power base.
I don't much like the sound of that.
Are you saying that's
but...
what the future bodes, or are you saying that's what's already happened? I'm kind of confused.
No, I'm saying that's what it looks like is already happening. That's what we're dealing with. This is not some localized cult. This is damn near a global religion.
So what you're saying is the enemy's everywhere.
Yes.
Well, so that kind
and much
of
more powerful than we might have
walketh
thought.
about as a roaring lion, seeking who it
so
may
that
devour.
kind of, to me, shows where we should go. So we can either continue to piece information together by going to Egypt, searching there, or we can go to Australia where this other professor is and see if he has any connections, anything that can clue us in on.
As far as I'm concerned, after our most recent meetup with the this group in England, I won't doubt the professor himself's a part of it.
No, that is, yeah. I mean, we came to England thinking that Gavigan was going to be an aid to us in our search, and he ended up being.
I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but right this moment, the only 4 people I trust are right here in this room.
No, I totally agree with that, including Miss Rumtree.
There's 4 of us.
Yeah. Well, she
including you, though. So you only trust
Oh,
you trust
oh,
yourself.
sorry. Yeah, sorry. I don't Didn't think of it that way.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, there's only 4 of us anyway.
So I mean,
I don't know.
I think we're in danger no matter where we go.
I think that we just put together a realization though that we're going everywhere.
I mean,
because if we are taking care, because we're headed to Egypt. I mean, yeah, we need to know more about this cult.
But we need to follow up on the sandbats, and we need to follow up on the
but that
bloody
would
tongue.
be
And we
Dr.
need to
Cowles
stop
would
whatever.
have that information, would he not?
Right.
I mean, because
Well, right, but that's what Bobby's saying. We don't know if the professor is going to be the leader of that cult.
I agree that I
Right.
agree, but I mean, at best we could just
Head out there.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, are you the leader of a cult?
Well, no, I'm saying we could go and seek information. We could even pretend to be seekers.
Good.
Well,
We
Bobby
don't
can
have
show
to.
his little scaly patch. Like, I'm a true believer.
We can be quite more surreptitious at this point.
He's awful rude to you about that scaly patch on your
it's
Mr. Blackwood.
it's already there. Not much I can do about it. I do plan on probably burning it off once all this is over, but whatever.
Howie.
It is what
Just
it
get
is.
a
You think anybody
just
wants
get
to
a tattoo over it.
think anybody wants to see that? You think nobody? But again, nobody but the people in this room are going to believe that.
I know
There.
a guy. Well, he's not going to ask any questions if you need a tattoo over something weird like that.
Either way, it looks like we're going everywhere to find out what's going on, and it looks like, unfortunately, we're the ones that are going to be stopping it.
Well, yeah,
I agree.
there's definitely something in Australia that they were getting shipments from. And
Then honestly, it's going to be up to us because who's going to believe this?
yeah.
I'm going to give you a couple of names. I'm just saying. No,
There has to be others out there.
I'm going to put a couple names in the book. People that I think that worst comes to worst, if we need reinforcements, I'm just going to give you all some names, okay? I'm not saying like right now, but
All right.
I'll come up with them. Because right now, 4 people ain't enough for all this. Quite frankly, I never thought I'd be putting as many bullets in people as I have so far. I
I think we all know people that we could probably call on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got someone from the war that I can trust.
Is there anybody, how confident are we in our own people that if we needed to send them some sort of information, we could? I mean, I know you said you wrote a letter, Aaron, and
Yeah, that was just
I know you did too, and I've made some phone calls, but do we trust our people with information regarding this to keep them at least loosely informed of what we're dealing with?
Yeah.
Would they think you're crazy?
No, I guarantee that
Because I trust that mine would not think I was crazy.
most of mine would think I'm crazy. They didn't exactly like what happened to my back when it happened, so no, none of my people
What
directly.
happened to your back? What am I forgetting?
Don't talk about it.
Oh. Oh, okay, so I didn't know about it.
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody's seen it yet. And I'll show y'all.
No, you've been quite proper and kept all your clothes on all the time.
I'll pull my shirt up a little bit, and you'll see large scars on my back.
Oh, interesting.
That's from a thing that attacked me in the
I was
woods.
going to say, it doesn't look like a clean scratch or clean scar. It looks like it was made by something very rough.
Yeah, something attacked
Jagged.
me in the woods, back in my family's estate a few years back. I'll be quite honest, I didn't think much of it, but the way it talked to me, those things in the painting, they spoke the same language.
Well, that's...
disconcerting.
Did you know about this, Aaron?
Precisely my
I don't talk
thoughts.
about any of this. And people people think you're crazy when you talk about this kind of thing.
Well, believe me, after our time in New York and England, I do not think you're crazy, Mr. Blackwood, but
I noticed
I'm
the scars,
concerned
but
that you're at risk.
I've noticed the scars in the past, but a man's stories are his own, so I didn't pry into it, and this doesn't shake my confidence in Bobby at all. I trust him.
Quite frankly, this kind of thing.
It's not that I don't trust him, it's that I'm concerned that he's going to if we happen to just find some artist in the out in England that painted beings that spoke a language that you've heard before and you happen to get sucked into it, I'm just saying.
I don't. Yeah, but
maybe there's a larger
maybe there's something more than we
cosmic
know.
fate that has drawn you into this group.
But
and what else are the rest of us dealing with?
Until that painting, I had no reason to believe that was anything but my imagination.
My imagination usually doesn't leave scars on me.
Yeah,
well, no, he could have. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It could have been an animal attack that you rationalized in your head, and your brain made you think something worse. I mean, I get what happens in the middle of shock. I've seen it in the war.
Sure. But I mean,
saying.
I don't know. I'm just saying that I've never heard of anybody rationalizing a made-up language. Usually they go, "Oh, it was just this. It was just a bear." Like, I would have been more. I would have found it more believable if he would have said, "A bear attacked me."
Yeah, and that's what I thought. I thought something had attacked me in those woods.
And so until this
bloodlust, or not bloodlust, but blood loss, caused me to hallucinate something else, and I didn't believe any of it was true until I got sucked in that painting.
Well, I still have that vial of. Sorry, y'all. I still have that vial of liquid that I pulled from that house.
Oh, the snake juice?
Snake juice.
Snake juice.
I don't know what it is. I don't really want to touch it. I'm just telling y'all, I've been down this route before and people think you're crazy.
Okay, well, don't worry about that right now.
Yeah, none of us here think you're crazy.
None of
We've all
us
seen
here
the same
think you're
thing.
crazy, and if you don't trust anybody outside of this circle to not think to not think you're crazy, then we're not going to leave any information with people that you know. That's all I'm trying to say is, do we need to leave information with somebody that's a little bit more detailed than, hey, crap's gone down?
Information, no, but my family's lawyer, the guy I wrote, he at least he'll keep us out of trouble and he'll keep the money flowing. And I've got a couple people that I know and back in New York that probably would at least give you an open ear, and not exactly tied to Miss Carlyle.
I was gonna say, did we send message back to Miss Carlyle that
We did.
Yes.
Okay.
That we had proof that Aubrey Penhew was alive, and perhaps Jack
Yeah,
Brady.
you sent a letter explaining things, and then a telegram letting her know that the letter was coming, and letting her know not to contact you in London, and that you would contact her when you were ready to contact her.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dalphus, since you've made this grand connection, where do you think we should go? Should we go to Australia and talk to Professor Cowles, or should we head into Africa and Egypt? Or should we go to Shanghai? I mean, we have Shanghai as well.
Shanghai is the only location that we don't have a cult associated with. We just know that things have been being shipped in and out of Shanghai.
And there's at least one name there that shouldn't be alive.
Right.
Who is it? Is Brady in Shanghai?
Right.
Yeah.
Brady's where
Oh, okay, I
the
didn't
picture was
remember
taken.
that.
Brady is in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Oh,
Same
the
thing.
photo. It's not the same.
That's my character.
Bobby.
There's
Unfortunately.
also
There's
a photograph of a Chinese junk.
That's right.
My character
Which is
doesn't write down
which
details.
is a type of ship that is definitely Shanghai.
Okay. Yeah, so I
It
mean...
was a ship pick.
Yeah,
What?
nothing.
Did you say a swear, David? I heard a swear.
No.
No,
Oh.
he's just shipping things.
But no, we
It
also
was a
have
picture of a ship that was a junk. It was some Chinese junk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was unsolicited, definitely.
Yeah.
Did you get what we were laying down there, Roxy?
I got it.
I shook my head a lot.
I'm just This is mine and Jewel's
reaction.
reaction. But we also have. Don't we also have a matchbook for is it the blind tiger or the blind tiger's in Shreveport, isn't it? The stumbling tiger.
Stumbling Tiger Bar in Shanghai.
Yeah, so we have a matchbook that was found on
Yeah.
one of the cultists,
Actually,
right?
I actually have a picture of it still.
Wasn't that found on the cultist that you all killed in,
Was it
in
the
New York?
cultist or was it on
Or Jackson Elias?
That's what I can't remember.
Either way,
It was on the cultist, but we thought it came off of Jackson.
Yeah, right. 'cause
Either way-
we found him rummaging in Jackson's pockets.
either way, we do know of cult then, because if Jackson or the cult member had it, either
we
way.
assume that yes, because that's where everything's being shipped.
Something-
That there's something going on there. But I'm saying like proof of occult activity. We don't have that in Shanghai yet.
Yeah. All I know is getting to Shanghai and coming back is going to be big.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes
Well,
more
there is the
sense to go
Orient
Egypt
Express.
to maybe stopping in India, catching a boat out of India to Australia, and then coming back from Australia to
Do
Hong
we
Kong.
have a reason to go to India?
Just to get a boat and get it cheaper.
Just to get a boat? Okay. Well, I mean,
It is also
So-
currently under British occupation, which makes it a pretty safe
a safe place
travel
to go.
distance.
This
Well-
is my line of thinking. All signs look like this is going to culminate in Kenya. So, regardless of our other stops, if we want to gather as much information as we can, tick off as many boxes as possible, then we want Kenya to be our last stop. So we either circumvent Africa altogether and work our way back there, go to Egypt and then Kenya, or from here we can go through Egypt and then out to Australia, circling back around, going to Kenya, maybe through Egypt again, in case there's anything we happen to miss in Egypt the first time. Just because we go to Egypt now doesn't mean we have to spend too long there.
Agree.
We can go through there on our way out, and then we can circle back around once we've collected some other
Well, you know
ideas and evidence.
you know someone in Cairo, do you not, Dalphus?
I know plenty of people in Cairo of both sides of the track, so to speak.
No, I don't think it's a bad idea to go there for a minute, and then we can head to Australia
Yeah. That's
via India, if that's what.
good. Yeah, that's
it
fine.
takes.
I'm up for it. I mean,
So Egypt first.
Does that
And if we
mesh
go to
with-
Egypt
Yeah.
now, and if we meet any opposition about trying to get into anything or anywhere, I have some people I can reach out to that may be able to have some doors opened for us if we come back.
Okay.
All right, so Egypt it is. I'm good with that. If we
Dolphins, are you sending notes ahead to purchase weaponry and
Yes.
equipment?
Yes.
Okay. So, John,
Mhm.
any on page 250 of the players or the investigators guide, it's 250 through 254. You can pick up anything that is appropriate to the 20s, and it'll say common in era on the far right. So anything that's listed as 1920s is available to you.
Okay.
Keep in mind, though, that some things only fire once every 3 rounds or something. So if it's 1/ another number, it's going to be once every so many rounds. And if they have a number in the parentheses, that means they can fire more than one shot if you have a high enough skill.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
So-
I'm buying some hand grenades.
Not hand grenades. No. No.
Oh.
How
Come on.
about you guys can pick up any guns? I'm fine with even machine guns. That's fine. But hand grenades are going to be a little out of the question. You'll probably get some like digging charges, but not hand grenades.
yeah, and because I have a background in demolition, so if we can get some digging charges, that might be helpful.
Dynamite sticks are definitely an option as well.
Yeah. I think I know what I'm grabbing.
Flamethrower,
No, the definitely the elephant gun.
the elephant gun. Okay, for all those elephants you're going to fight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, at this point, my character, his paranoia is through the roof.
So
I'm good on weapons because my revolver,
okay.
my 45 has been handling good, so I'm fine with. I don't need any more.
Does anybody need me to buy them anything? Throwing that out there.
I just need to see the book so I can see what's available to me.
Okay.
I mean, but I have a way to. I mean, I have a 10-gauge shotgun, a 38 revolver, and brass knuckles. Do you think that's enough to fight off a global cult?
As long as you remember to bring your
maybe
guns
pick up
with
some
you.
more shells.
Yeah, I need ammunition.
And to remember to bring your guns with you when we go somewhere.
My guns are... Well, the problem is, you try carrying around a 10-gauge shotgun in the middle of London. If we're going into bush country, I can probably do that pretty easy.
Yeah. I'm going to be... yeah.
Keep in mind the shotguns do have a different kind of damage.
They
Yeah.
do.
Um,
I see that. I have
so-
like 3...
Roxy, do you want to look at mine?
there's
Sure,
a
just
there's
real
a
fast.
note on
It's already open.
255 that will tell you what their slugs do.
Okay.
Um,
250.
Y'all, there's a whip in here. I think I may have to get a whip.
Oh,
just
Oh,
God.
get you
Well,
a
whip
whip.
it
That's
good.
fine.
You get in the
Indiana
hat
Jones
too?
is all over the place.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hey, they even have Rock Throne listed here. All right. So you guys are headed to Egypt. Professor, tell me about your contacts in Egypt. Who you're contacting this time?
Okay. Well, do you want like legitimates or like?
I want to know
underworld
who
type
you're
stuff?
calling to pick you up all this stuff, and who's going to meet you at the docks.
Okay. To procure the items, we might want to keep that off of official channels. So I'll contact some of the people that did some of the street deals and black market items.
Sure.
That I probably slipped a few items from our digs there to them just to make sure that they stayed friends.
Do you have a name? I would love a name for that contact.
Okay.
And you can always look that up. That's not a huge deal. So I guess the first question is he Egyptian?
Oh,
Or
yes.
Are they Egyptian? Okay.
Yes.
And then the person that's going to meet you at the docks and be your guide going to be Egyptian as well, or are they British or French or anything else that would be in the area?
What do we need a guide for?
Basically, he's going to make sure that your hotel's already taken care of. You have a car if you need one. Basically, he's the guy on the ground that gets you set up so that you don't have to go fiddle with a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Sorry, I just read something that made me giggle.
That's typically how you would operate going specifically going into Cairo.
He's basically our concierge.
Yeah. And also, if you had a place you wanted to start, he might be able to track down the people for that. And I'm not saying you guys have a place to start, but there is at least one clue that you guys have covered, and I'll touch on it if I need to. It's not that big of a deal.
Let's see.
Actually, Roxy,
Yeah.
do you have access to number 11?
Do I have access to number 11? You mean the handout?
Yes.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. And 11 is right here. Yeah, I was looking at this earlier. So, yeah, the letter from Faraz Najir in Cairo.
Yeah.
Ooh, I found it. I wrote it down. Jackal Street.
Yep, the Street of Jackals in the Old Quarter.
And we basically said, don't go there, bad place.
Well, yeah, and that was written to Mr. Carlyle.
Yep. By a
However, that
Franz-
does tell you who was hired by the Carlisle expedition. So he's going to have a lot of information about what they did there.
Sure.
So that's a thing to keep in mind.
So we would be looking for the Faraz Najir.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Cairo. Assuming he's still there 6 years later, but he should be. Let's see. Man.
Are you guys letting Erica Carlisle know where you're at?
We didn't when we left London because we
weren't
all
real
super
sure
paranoid.
where we were going. But yeah, we can. Yeah.
I think once we get to Egypt, we could send a telegram out, possibly.
Yep, and I'll send the newspaper article that details the location and things of that nature. Probably the message will be mainly, list the newspaper page number or whatever it is for that, and a date.
What news article are we talking about?
Wasn't there a newspaper article or a news article about the fall of that the miser house? It was
death cults exposed.
Death
or
cults
something.
exposed.
Yes, yes, you can do that as well. Yeah, that's fine.
That's going to be the majority of the message.
So are you letting Erica Carlyle know in an expedient way where you're at currently, so that she could respond to you? I guess is the better question.
I think we would have done that when we got to when we got settled in France, so she would have had time to respond.
Yeah, because we were also.
Go ahead and put number 11 up on the screen.
Again? Okay. I did.
Yeah,
I
I'm
did.
sorry.
That's all right.
That's fine. That is not the right letter.
Oh.
And I come up with some names when you're ready.
No. You have the right letter. I'm not looking at the right letter.
Oh, okay.
There we go. It says, Dear Mr. Carlyle, I am informed that you seek certain knowledge of our land and can perhaps aid you. I can perhaps aid you in this. In my possession are singular curios, which I most happily believe of interest. These I willingly send to you for consideration if a price can be agreed upon. Naturally, they are ancient and must command a goodly sum. I will arrange matters to your satisfaction when your agent calls at my shop at the Street of Jackals in the Old Quarter. So when you contact Ms. Carlyle to let her know where you're at and where you're headed next, she follows up with a telegram somewhat quickly saying, if you're headed to Cairo, Warren Basalt was Roger's agent there.
What was that name again? Warren Basalt?
Warren Basalt.
Okay. So we have two names to follow up on.
I'm sorry, not Basalt, Basart. A-R-T. Not A-L-T. That is my mistake. And I'm correcting it now because last time I played this, I got two pyramids named the wrong thing, confused the crap out of myself and my players. So it was terrible because later you'll be like, what about that Basalt guy? And I'll be like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'd be right.
Well, it seems like Erica's still interested in helping us find out about her brother. I mean, she gave us some good leads.
No crap. I mean, wouldn't you?
I don't know.
And that wasn't my Jewell Rumtree voice. That was Roxanne's voice. Yeah, well.
Roxanne's voice
she also forwards along another $7,500 that can be picked up at the local bank.
Nice.
Cool.
With a note that says... Egypt can be perilous. Please be careful.
Did you still need this, Aaron? Shawn? Did you still need this?
No.
I've got some names when you're ready.
Good.
Sure, go for it.
I don't want to smash your
All right, so our guide will be Zaid Mustafa.
Excellent. And he is Egyptian?
Yes.
Okay.
Our street contact that I would gone to procure the items and go and find them, that's going to be trading or selling them to us, is known only as Mahmoudi.
Okay. Also Egyptian?
Yes.
Okay.
And then also I have come up with a fixer in case we need someone to handle some delicate matters. The fixer will be Muhammad Al-Hawass.
I assume also an Egyptian.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just verifying because there are different things that happen for different people. It's fantastic. And to the best of your knowledge, they're all good Muslims?
Yes. Mahamoudi is kind of shady, so he's probably more in it for himself than anything else. So I don't know how strong his faith would be, but probably for no other reason than the rest of the cultural suppression on himself that he would be, yes.
Fantastic.
It's like the dude from The Mummy.
Yeah. Yeah, good old Benny.
Yeah, poor Benny.
Fantastic. Okay, so
If he thought a crucifix might save his butt, he'd probably pull one out and be like, "Ah!" Yeah. So.
okay.
And if the situation feels like we need it, and I need some expat type of contact, I'll come up with those later.
Sure, that's fine. So a couple of things to know about Egypt for our players and our listeners, our watchers at home, our viewers. Egypt currently is a British protectorate and has been so for about 40 years. Hypothetically, Egypt regained most of its internal independence in 1922, but the British reserved 4 areas of discretionary power concerning imperial communications. Concerning imperial communications, the Sudan, the defense of Egypt and the Nile, and the canal, the Suez Canal, and the protection of foreign interests and of minorities. Basically, it just gives British the right to do whatever they want to do, as long as they can tie it to one of those 4 things. So the British has a garrison at the Suez Canal, and there is also a garrison in Cairo and Port Said. That also leaves with it a bit of resentment between the people of Egypt and the British. Prior to the British, where the French was a French occupation, so the French actually have quite a few people here as well. And Cairo has become a very easy place for foreigners to come and visit. At least the new part of Cairo. There's a new city and an old city. The new city is what you would expect from a somewhat modern city, just about anywhere. Wider streets, cars, that kind of stuff. The old city is the windy, twisty, turvy roads that you can't get a car down. And also you could walk down and get knifed at any time. That's kind of how they feel. Whether or not you're going to get knifed in the old city, they feel very much like that.
And that's where
the new city has...
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
And that's where Nigir's shop is in the old city.
That's true. The new city has addresses. The old city has streets. So that's why he's on the Street of Jackals. And not every street has a name, but it is named something, if that makes sense. So it's not like Fifth Avenue. It's the Street of Jackals, for whatever reason. And the majority of the upper middle class and wealthy are clearly European. There are not a lot comparatively of rich people from Egypt in Cairo. The majority of them are Europeans. Does that all make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Is there anything else you guys want to do before we go?
Nope. I picked out the guns I'm getting.
When did we decided where we were going? Like, did we determine that at the beginning of our stay? Or
probably towards the end after everybody had time to rest.
Yeah, I make another phone call. That's all.
That's fine. Yeah. Is anybody still hurt?
I'm all healed up, so.
Yeah, me too.
I've never taken an injury.
Wow. You stay.
My sanity, all of mine is mental.
Yeah.
I'm
stable now.
I have sustained no scrapes and bruises. Yeah. Do we get more sanity back because we talk to people?
Sure. Let me double check what that said, because I don't remember.
Yeah, because that's why I wrote the letter.
Yeah, that's why. That's
no. That's a solid point. I forgot what it said though, because when I asked you guys if you were going to do that, I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally know what this says next time we play. Joke's on me. Sanity increase 167. Says make a sanity roll. Anyone that did that?
Okay.
So we just roll a percentile?
Yep.
Yep.
Trying to get under it, right? Still?
Yes.
I got under it. I rolled a 29. My sanity right now is a 43.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I did not.
Nope, sorry, 26. I gotta see where the dot is.
Yeah, it's 26.
If you failed, you'll get 1 back.
Yay.
If you succeeded, you get 1d6 back. I will tell you, this is not what the book says, but I don't like what the book is asking me to do.
Oh, okay.
I
It
get a 1
asks
back.
me to make you lose another point of sanity and then modify the relationship between you and that other person.
Oh,
but
because so they think I'm crazy?
Yeah, but given the way that the story is going, I don't want to do that and cut off ties. I don't want to do that at all.
This is a bad D6. I got 1 point of sanity back.
Don't roll that one.
Look,
It's 1.
got as many as
I did.
Rumtree.
You got as many as I did.
Yeah, but you failed your roll.
Sucks to be you, I guess. I mean, I have very little sympathy for you at my 25 points of sanity.
Are you hearing voices yet?
No, just yours.
Insomnia.
It's bad enough.
Like people are constantly watching you.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
speed.
since New York, actually. You know.
Somebody's watching.
Yeah, that's. Did you just write that song, Mr. Blackwood? That could be a top. That could be a top of the pops.
Top of the pops.
I always feel
I
like
don't think the
somebody's
top of the
watching me.
pops. I don't think. Top
So
of
is
the
that all
Pops
you
exists.
guys are doing in France?
Taking pictures.
Yeah, he's been out taking pictures. I've just been, journaling and sketching in my sketchbook and making phone calls and writing letters.
I actually contacted, while we were in France, Jacob Finley. He was my lieutenant during the war. And he decided at the war's end that he stayed in France. And so I kind of met with him and filled him in on what's going on. Because he's used to my investigations and some of the strangeness we saw in the
Pull that a
war.
little
Oh,
closer.
sorry.
Yeah, if you could pull that a little closer.
Yeah.
Like, I can't keep...
I got too far away. So
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I spent some time in, libraries and museums and things like that are of interest to me.
Okay, fantastic.
a lot of pastries.
So we're gonna jump straight to Cairo because the
So
travel
much
there is
brie.
not super important. It's only a couple of days.
Sweet.
And I am actually gonna mute myself while I sneeze. Hold on. Oh, okay. So you arrive at Port Said. You're met there by Professor Hardgrove's contact. He arranges your transportation into Cairo, and he has arranged a hotel under an assumed name. Correct, Professor? That's what you would have asked him to do?
Yes.
Okay. He tells you that he's not familiar with Faraz Najir, but he definitely has people out there looking to make sure that he knows exactly where to send you, and he should have that information in the morning. By the time you get to Cairo, it is dinner time, and the Street of Jackals, the old city, unless you really are familiar with it, is not exactly safe during the night. It's not like it's full of crime, but you get twisted around and you go to the wrong area, and that can get real dangerous.
Sure.
So, anything you guys want to do with that night? I'm sorry, shortly after your contact leaves, your other contact shows up and drops off items for you.
We're all just like, what?
Presents.
What?
Hmm?
Dalphus, what is this? What is this parade of natives? Of locals that you have? Natives, rather, it was the right word. Locals.
They come bearing gifts.
They do. They have nothing to offer.
I'm getting my items ready.
Yeah, I'll get mine as well.
And I'm going to find, a British newspaper of the area and start perusing it just to get a feel for the area.
Did one of you actually get an elephant gun?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Bobby is... What is your sanity at, Bobby? Because I feel like I'm acting more sane than you. Do I need to up my crazy? Do I need to up my paranoia?
I'm at 20.
Okay, nope,
Technically-
I'm more sane than he
Technically,
is.
by the rules, you're 1,000% sane until you hit 0, and then you are no longer sane.
Oh, okay.
Unless you have
Maybe
a
it's
sanity
zero.
break. It's just that things are piling up right now.
Sure.
And they keep piling.
That's fine. Jewell Rumtree is not much for paranoia, so she may not be
So,
okay.
go ahead. What were you saying?
I was like, she may not be okay, but she's not too fearful of much right now. She did pick up a bolt-action rifle, though. And in Paris, she picked up some mace. So
Is mace a thing in the 20s?
it says it is.
Yes, it
Then
is.
fantastic. Go for it.
That's what I was
added it on
Are you
the
gonna
giggling.
make a joke, like big round metal on a long stick, or like
No, like it's yeah,
Mace
it has
spray, specifically is what it says.
25 squirts. Is what I have. That's what made me giggle when I was looking at the
Oh, is that
book.
what made you laugh?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
yeah, it has a range of 6 feet and 25 squirts.
And apparently I had them pick up a couple of cans of it for us.
Oh, so you got some too?
Yeah.
I think I've been like, how many of these guys have just been like, oh, I'm going to do this. I need something that can at least blind their eyes or something for a minute.
Until we come against the cult that gouges their eyes out, then we're like, psh.
It's still going to hurt when I breathe that crap in. I mean, we're not going to be... Hey, did you happen to order some respiratory masks, respirator masks, Dalphus? So we can quickly cover our orify before we go into the...
Just make sure we're all downwind when you start squirting your mace.
Yeah, I'll be sure to, lick my finger
you
and
mean
put it in
upwind?
the air in the middle
Do
of
it?
a
Upwind.
tea house.
Yeah, upwind. There we
Yeah,
go.
sorry.
So a couple of things to note. As you arrive in Port Said, you are requested to register and obtain visas, which is not nearly as complicated as it is today. But basically, you have to fill out some paperwork. And then when you arrive in Cairo, you will have to re-register. But all of this requires valid passports, which I believe you all have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if our artwork is any indication, they are all valid.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, wait.
Uh,
Shoot, I left mine in London.
Well, you're screwed.
I'll stay here by the ship.
A couple other things to keep in mind. While it is technically winter, and you're like at the 15th, we'll say the 15th of February, daily highs are going to be around 85 degrees and higher. So, and it's a lot of not shade because you're going to be in parts of it are in the desert. So it's something to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is that most of Cairo is shockingly poor. Beggars are everywhere. A lot of them seem to lack arms, legs, and other things. They have twisted spines and missing noses. There's a lot going on here that is not being treated. Probably because the country or the city just does not have the resources. There we go. Okay, so you guys are good that night with everything, and you're just going to head out in the morning.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm prepping all my items. I'm actually I got a shotgun case to put my shotgun in, and
Okay.
so the 12 gauge is going to actually look like I'm carrying a 12 gauge. The elephant gun will go in my concealed case, and then I've got a sawed off now.
So
Okay.
you're just packing all kinds of heat.
Well,
I thought your shotgun was. Oh no, your shotgun's just a double barrel. That's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, perfect.
I picked up a Browning, just so you know.
A Browning machine gun.
Yes, auto rifle.
Okay. So I believe that requires a tripod.
No, not that one. Not the 30 cal.
Okay. It's like, I mean, you can get a tripod if you really want to.
No, that was a
sometimes things just
$3,000
need to die.
rifle. In 1920s dollars, it was a $3,000 rifle. No, I went with the smaller Browning auto rifle that has a 20 round magazine.
The 1918.
Oh, hang on. Yes. Yep.
Okay. Let me double check just to make sure everything else looks good. Wow, that's super helpful. Why would you have something noted and not tell me what it is? All right, good enough. Sounds good. Okay, perfect. So, in the morning, your contact, Dalphus, comes back. He says that he has found Faraz. He's aware of where Faraz Najir's shop is. It is not on the Street of Jackals. It looks like it has moved. But the previous shop had burned down.
Sounds about right.
Places have the tendency to ignite around certain people, I suppose.
Yeah.
You guys headed straight there?
After breakfast.
Obviously, yes. What was I thinking?
Nuts.
Not about breakfast, clearly.
Obviously. So after breakfast, you guys head down to the Old City. And in the midst of a dozen pottery shops is a door and window clearly marked Faraz Najir in Arabic, Curios in English, and does anyone speak French?
Yes.
Bobby does.
Magasin d'Art Antiques in French. Several stores of tenements tower above. Several stories of tenements tower above the building.
So it's an antique shop.
Yeah, we know how that goes.
Yeah, we've had lots of luck with antique shops.
Are all four of you going in? How are you handling this?
I mean, I speak Arabic.
I'm going to actually keep watch on the outside.
I mean, the professor and I could go in this time.
We hear something. We're coming in.
Or if you hear something from us, come on out.
Yeah. We can have a
Okay,
party.
so Hardtree. Yes,
Yep,
Hardtree.
that's
Hardtree's going in.
That's our duo name.
That's the ship.
Okay, fantastic.
Shipping
So
sailor.
inside you find kind of a thicker gentleman. He's not fat by any means, but he's not gaunt at all. With a nice mustache. He greets you as you walk in. He says, in Arabic, he says, "Welcome to my shop. How may I help you?"
Did you want to do the talking, David, or?
I'll let you start. Introduce yourself to him, I guess.
Hello there.
Are you speaking in Arabic as
I
well?
am. I
Okay,
am.
fantastic.
Mr. Najir, I presume? Najir?
Yes, and who am I speaking with?
My name is Miss Smith from New York, and we are here to looking for some information. We got sent here by a friend of ours and found a letter. I think he hired you, and you did some work for him some years back. Mr. Carlyle?
His eyes bulge, and he says, "Oh, I don't know anything about that. Perhaps it is time for you to leave." And he begins to, physically move his hands to try and get you to shoo out of his store.
Mr. Najir, I do not wish to cause any kind of an issue. We are just here asking on behalf of Mrs. Carlyle for any additional information that you might have regarding their time in Egypt. And I'm not here to cause a fuss or anything like that. This is merely a fact-finding mission.
As you persist, he reaches into one of the cases, pulls out a very bejeweled scimitar, and begins shaking it in your general direction.
Shaking it like his hands are shaking, or like he's threatening me with it?
He's threatening you, but it's clear that he doesn't know what he's doing with it. He could hurt you with it, but he's not good with it.
Mr. Najir, that is not necessary at all. At all is this necessary. Shut up,
He
David.
does begin screaming and cursing quite loudly in Arabic.
I can't tell you how tempted I am to pull out the whip and try to whip it out.
He starts talking about how you should leave his shop, and that you are clearly related to diseased camels, and that he wants nothing to do with your foreign devil problems.
But you were more than happy to accept that foreign devil money, were you not?
He just keeps screaming. Does anyone want to try and subdue him? Either one of you? Although, I guess Bobby and Aaron make listen checks for me.
Oh, God.
What is your brawl, David?
I rolled.
It is 61.
So
I just
Your
rolled
brawl?
I
Yeah.
just literally rolled a 1.
Oh, nice.
I rolled.
Oh, wow.
I rolled a. We're looking for listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I can't hear Jack.
So you hear him yelling inside. It's not super loud, but he has raised his voice. Do either one of you speak Arabic?
No, but it sounds...
Aggressive.
I mean,
It
Bobby's
sounds very
paranoid.
aggressive.
Tis Greek to me.
Bobby's already paranoid, we know, so it probably sounds pretty hostile.
Yeah.
And it is pretty hostile. Can I try to disarm him?
Yeah. How do you want to do
Can you
that?
explain to me how the bullwhip works?
Not very well.
Oh, so you know what? I know how this works. So you're going to both roll on whatever thing you're going to do. So if you're going to roll to attack, so you're going to roll with your brawl melee, right?
Yeah, I was going to do fighting brawl to see if I could
There we
just grab the scimitar out of his hand.
Well, specifically, Dalphus, you're going to roll fighting melee, and he's going to roll something else. He's either going to try and attack you or dodge. Whichever one of you gets a success, or if you both succeed, whichever one of you gets a lower roll will succeed, and then at that point you can turn that into either damage or use it to do something. So in this case, you could use it to disarm him.
Okay.
Does that all make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So do you want to try and take it from him?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to have you roll.
Do you have fighting
or
melee?
fighting melee.
Okay. So I'm a little confused because I don't have a fighting melee, but there's 2 different numbers for knife and sword on here. Are they supposed to be the same?
Maybe. Are they base numbers like 25?
Are they?
No.
Okay, so it sounds like you put points into specific weapons instead of the fighting skill.
So it should have just been into melee then, instead of like the weapon itself.
That's what I would assume, yes.
Okay. Well, then I will just make them the same.
Okay.
And whip is going to be counted as melee as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll that. Your melee. Did you get a success?
It's going to be a hard success.
Well, he didn't succeed at all. He goes to pull away from you as you pull the whip out and whip it. You can either hurt him or take the sword.
Roxy, did you? What was your roll?
I don't think that Roxy initiated anything yet.
I thought you said
I was going to try to disarm him, but then David jumped in with the bullwhip, so I would have stayed out of the way of the bullwhip.
Okay.
Covering your face. So you
I thought it was we were kind of rolling at the same time, and then whoever got the lowest roll, theirs thing happened. Is what?
No. You actually roll against him. It's a contested roll for him.
Oh, okay.
So,
sorry,
yeah.
I completely misunderstood the situation.
That's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So are you taking the sword or what did you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. So you remove the sword from his hand, and then what?
Mr. Najir, I think you need to chill out.
There's some loud voices coming from inside.
You need to calm down
Yelling.
and give us a minute.
Yelling danger.
You'll be fine. We'll be out of your hair in
Think we
no
need to go in
time. You are acting
I don't
like a
understand what's
fool.
being said.
You do. Bobby and Aaron, you do hear the sound of the crack of a whip.
The front door, is it glass? Is it closed? Is there any way to see in?
It is
probably wouldn't.
glass.
Oh.
It's just dirty, kind of grimy glass.
I'm gonna try and peer in through the door and see what's going on before we go barging in.
Give me a spot hidden.
That is a 49, so a normal success.
You can see shapes They are moving in agitated ways, but you can't really make out who is who. Other than Ms. Rumtree is clearly the sturdy one.
I'm gonna look at Bobby and be
Can't
like,
miss me.
"There's something going on in there. I mean, I don't know if they're scuffling, but it's not happy talk."
You guys okay in there?
I mean, I'm. Jewell Rumtree doesn't know this. Roxanne is more or less concerned that now we've got people on the outside making a scene.
Just peeking in the door.
No, I'm
well,
just
and shouting in it. I don't
in
want to.
English.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is concerning.
Yeah.
You're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. So,
We already do.
Yeah.
so after I told him to calm the F down, is he still rambling like a crazy man?
He is
insulting me.
Not cowering so much as he looks like a cornered rat.
Okay, well that's about my estimation of him at this point. Yeah, well, you can either talk to me or you're going to just sit there and wait while I look for some information. So what would you rather I do? Handle all your stuff with my, cursed camels and diseased camel hands, or would you like to get your own stuff and answer my questions like an adult and a human?
It doesn't matter. They'll kill me either way.
Well, if they're
Roxy,
going to
give me a spot hidden.
yeah, that is a success.
It looks
Regular.
like the side of his face, and now that you're looking at his arm and hand, it looks like at some point in time within the last year or so, he has been burned very badly and not healed correctly.
Would you like me to look at your burns there, sir?
No, they're fine.
They're not fine.
Take
I'm not stupid.
Just take whatever you want, and don't let the Brotherhood know that I helped you.
The Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh?
He whatever the equivalent in Arabic to the F word is, he mumbles it pretty loudly.
I'm going to take that as a yes.
Yeah, Mr. Najir, I mean, you have really no real knowledge of why we're here or what we're here for, but your reaction to any kind of question would alert anyone that is even loosely related to the Brotherhood that you have information that can easily be eked out of you. So maybe you should just chill out and calm down for a minute, and if they're going to kill you anyway, then might as well make your death mean something and tell us what we're here to find out.
Do you want to give me either a fast talk or like a charm roll on that? Either one.
How about an intimidate?
Sure, that works too.
I
Yeah,
am a little better at intimidate. Okay.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Intimidation with kindness.
I will use luck on that to get a regular success.
Fantastic. He begins to weep. And he says, "What would you like to know?" Now, before we go any farther, we're going to take a quick break.
Oh, is it already time?
Yeah, it's already that time.
That's
so
'cause
I
you
thought we'd take a
broke that
break.
poor little man.
We're going to grab some water and hit the restroom. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Yeah,
See
thanks
everybody in a
guys for
minute.
listening, and we'll see you in just a few.
Yeah, just a few.
everybody, welcome back to whatever we're doing. The Quiett Gentleman Entertainment.
You are getting real bad about these.
Listen, Glenn, listen.
Yeah.
So we are talking to that guy,
Najir.
Faraz Najir. Sorry,
Roxy broke him.
I didn't break him.
After you intimidate him, it all comes kind of spilling out.
Okay, guys, get ready. Boys, come in. I need other ears on this.
Go ahead.
All right,
says-
I'll go in.
Roger Carlyle sought information about the brain of the Black Pharaoh. Supposedly, that was ended by Sneferu, first pharaoh of the 4th dynasty.
The brain of the Black Pharaoh?
Yes. I came into possession of a number of items related to the Black Pharaoh, including an ancient scroll detailing the entrance to a hidden room in an unnamed pyramid, within which the Black Pharaoh supposedly was entombed. A bust of the Black Pharaoh, and a small drum, also known as a tambour, bearing odd symbols supposedly of mystical power, and a strange circlet with a large zircon, which was said to be the crown of the Black Pharaoh, and to be the key of his triumph over death. With Roger Carlyle's agreement, I sold the items to his agent, Warren Basalt. I sold them. I had obtained them from the house of a man named Omar Shakti, who I believe to be involved with the Brotherhood. Rumor has it that the Brotherhood is involved in the recent theft of a mummy from the Clive expedition that's currently here in Egypt. I also heard that the Brotherhood wants an item located in the Mosque of Ibn Tulun, but I don't know what it is or why the Brotherhood won it. I don't know much more about what happened, although Warren Basalt may have more information since he was Carlyle's man. It's my understanding he is still somewhere here in Egypt.
Do you mean Warren Basart? Good
Yep,
sir?
that's absolutely what Matt meant. Basart.
I was trying to keep it in character.
So
Listen, I'm reading it. I'm seeing Basart, and I'm saying basalt. So
real quick, Najir obtained the relics from who?
Omar Shakti.
Yeah.
I need everybody to give me an intelligence check.
That's in the room.
Omar Shakti Day.
No, I called everybody in.
I
called you all in.
I said I was. I told him to go ahead.
Yeah,
and go
he was still outside.
Oh,
so.
okay. Then
I rolled an 88. I failed.
I'm outside.
this is an
watching.
intelligence roll, you say?
Yes.
I got a regular success.
As did I.
The bust that he describes, you remember seeing in the Miser house.
Okay.
Right. I remembered that.
Okay, can you really quickly, Matt? I got that Carlyle was looking for the brain of the Black Pharaoh and something that ended in the 1st dynasty, and then the items that this fella Najir had was an ancient scroll. I got the details about that, the bust of the Black Pharaoh, the circlet, but there was at least one other item.
Tambour drum.
Tambour drum. Was that it that he mentioned, or did I miss something else?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay, and then
Was there a name in there somewhere that you said after the brain of the Black Pharaoh?
Did I say brain?
That's yeah, and I
Yeah.
even asked you. I was like, "Did you say brain?" Do you mean was it rain? Rain of the Black Pharaoh?
Reign of the Black Pharaoh. Yes. I'm sorry.
And it ended in the 1st
reign
dynasty.
Supposedly ended by Sneferu. There we go.
Sneferu. Okay.
Aha.
Sorry about
that's
that.
a lot less creepy.
Yeah, I was like,
Sneferu, Professor Sneferu is the first pharaoh of the 4th dynasty, meaning that the Black Pharaoh reigned before that, between the 3rd and the 4th dynasty. And you know that there's a dark time there where not a lot of information is known. So that might be where this person reigned.
okay.
Okay.
If they were a real person.
So, and then Omar Shakti was who he got it from. and and then he sold them to Warren Bassart on behalf of Roger Carlyle. And Omar Shakti is also believed to be tied to the Brotherhood and the theft of a mummy.
So Omar Shakti is believed to be tied to the Brotherhood.
Sure.
The Brotherhood is believed to be involved in a recent theft of a mummy from the Clive expedition.
From the Clive. Okay, I got the Clive expedition written down, and then something about the Masks of Nyarlathotep.
Yeah, he's also heard that the Brotherhood wants an item located in the Mosque of Ibn Tulun, IBN-TULUN.
TLU.
But he doesn't know what it is he wants, what it is they want, or why.
Okay. All right. Cool. I mean, that's... Jewell would look around after he said his piece, and, well, she'd go, is there anything else that you can either give us? Do you have any other relics associated with the Brotherhood, or any documentation about any other items? And if not...
Can you roll intimidation?
I did not get it.
Okay. He says, no, that is that is all I have. I don't have any more contact with anyone to do with the Brotherhood, and they burned down my shop to make sure that I didn't speak to anyone else. And it's clear that I didn't learn a lesson, and that I didn't cover my tracks well enough.
Are you sure you're not holding anything out on us?
Can I look around a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, anybody with archaeology or occult trained can look around and give me a roll.
Okay.
I guess not Bobby, since he's outside.
Yeah, I'm just watching for people watching us.
I got an I got a hard success on an archaeology roll.
I got extreme success on archaeology roll.
I don't have anything.
So the stuff he has here... Well, no? What'd you say?
I'm saying I'm in the shop, but I don't have archaeology or occult, so...
The stuff he has here is... there's a lot of money in this shop. But none of it seems to be occult related.
Okay.
I feel like you're holding back something. You seem like there's something you're not wanting to tell us. Maybe... And I pull out some cash, and I slip some cash towards him, and maybe this will make up for some of the trouble. Maybe you can think of a few things that you haven't mentioned. Roll persuade?
Yeah, go for it. Go ahead and give me a bonus. Because you gave me cash.
Sweet. Okay. Well, I rolled a 9, so I don't think I really need a bonus.
No. No, you don't.
Well, unless you can get that one, David.
How would the bonus work? What would that be?
He actually couldn't get the one because the one's dice doesn't change. He
that's
literally
right.
could not get it lower.
Could not get any lower.
Yeah. So he reaches under his clothing and pulls out a necklace of silver and jet with a large opal in the center. And he says, "This item is tied to the occult as well. It's not something specific to the Black Pharaoh, but it is something I stole from Shakti's house."
Can I make a roll to identify it?
Sure.
An occult roll?
Yeah.
Okay. 22? That would be a hard success.
The item itself is protective. You're not sure against what. You don't recognize some of the symbols on it because it's not anything that you've seen before. But it is definitely protective for the person wearing it against something.
Okay. Well, we all need our protections of sort. Do you happen to know where we get any more items like that?
I don't.
How about a list of names of people that are associated with the Brotherhood, or those that might be allied with us against the Brotherhood?
The only person that I know, whose name I know, is Omar Shakti. I don't know of any other names, and I assume that the British would be allied with you if this was something that you could show they were a danger. Maybe the Clive expedition, if you could prove that they stole a mummy.
All right.
Yeah. Do you happen to know where Omar Shakti resides now?
Same place where I procured his items. He has a plantation. I'm looking for where it's at. Sorry, hold on. Along the west bank of the Nile, a few miles north of Cairo, Omar Shakti has a large cotton plantation. He also does have a home in a small town of Gazira Muhammad that's not far from there. Can I get Dalphus? Dalphus, can I get you to roll a luck?
Okay. $35 under 75.
You're familiar with the name. Omar Shakti is cultured and wealthy, reputedly a lesser son of a fine family, long powerful in Egypt. You have not met him, but you have been at parties with him. If you were ever rubbing elbows here, which I assume you would have. To the best of your knowledge, Mr. Shakti is an honest citizen, an astute businessman, and has impeccable manners. Manners that would make the British feel right at home.
Gotcha.
You were going to say something, Roxy? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I was going to ask Mr. Najir, do you have any information perhaps on the mummy that has been purported as being stolen from the Clive expedition? Like of who or what tomb this mummy was removed from?
No, the Clive expedition is still digging. I'm looking for where it's at. Sorry, hold on. Keep going. There we go. The Clive expedition is digging near Memphis. I know that it's founded by the Pinhue Foundation. They've been there for around 5 months. If you give me some time, I might be able to come up with who the principal members of the expedition are, but I don't know much more than that. Supposedly, they found something from the 12th dynasty, but I don't think that's correct. That wouldn't make sense for the area they're in.
If we gave you the time to perhaps get those names... Whoa. Sorry, somebody breathed into their mic. It sounded like thunder.
I was yawning. I'm sorry. I tried to cover it.
If we gave you time to get those names, would you I'm asking you honestly, would you actually give them to us?
If I lived that long. And in his eyes, you can see he has resigned that he's going to die.
Is someone watching you, Mr. Najir?
The Brotherhood knew before. I assume they'll find out this time too.
Well, it was never our intention to put you in harm's way, Mr. Najir. We just came here seeking information. Offsides to Aaron or whomever I'm in here with.
I'm sorry. Did you guys slip into English at any point?
When I talk to them, I speak in English.
Okay, so the rest of this has all been in Arabic?
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Okay, so Aaron, you have followed none of this.
No,
I have no idea what's going on.
I get that, but...
I mean, we'll tell you.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, Jewell yelled, Bobby was like, go on in. And
yeah, I mean, I yelled out and told them to come in, in English, but...
Forgetting that I don't speak Arabic.
Well, no, I just called you... That's true. I guess you couldn't have heard all the stuff that I asked you to come in and hear. Well, maybe I was sitting here going blah, 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 blah. While Dalphus was talking to him, blah, 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 blah. So we'll just say that I was translating off the fly while Dalphus talked to him.
That's fine. That's fine.
And, but When we got the telegram from Miss Carlyle, did she happen to indicate where Mr. Bassart was? Because he's still here, right?
No, she didn't indicate.
Supposedly he is here.
Do you know where Mr. So then I would ask Mr. Najir, is Mr. Bassart, do you know of his whereabouts currently?
I'm looking. Hold on just a second.
I mean, he may not. I'm asking.
Well, that was what, 6 years ago?
The last I heard of Mr. Bassart, he was involved. He is a member. He is a French citizen, so he was involved with the French embassy at some point. They may have his address, but I'm not positive where he is.
That's quite all right. Are you when you helped out Mr. Carlyle before, were you his guide?
No, I had items that I thought he might want to purchase, and he did.
Okay.
Tied to the Black Pharaoh.
And you're familiar with what happened to the Carlyle expedition?
Massacred in Kenya is what I heard.
And nobody from that expedition has tried to reach out to you since that time?
No. I never even met Mr. Carlyle.
Sure.
I did everything through Warren.
Sure. Not a problem. Has the Pinhue Foundation tried to reach out to you at any point?
No.
All right. That's all really I needed to know. Does he have anything for sale?
Can I get you to roll luck, Roxy?
Sure. Do I feel lucky? Well, do I? I don't.
Okay. Thank you.
Has he got anything for sale?
Everything's for sale.
Does he have, I know they're all antiques, and I assume they're Egyptian antiques. I would love to purchase something. Does he have anything? It's all legitimate antiques? It's not like anything kitschy?
There's a couple. There is some kitschy stuff, but there are legitimate antiques around as well. It's clear that he has placed the kitschy stuff for people who are not well trained to see good artifacts. Basically, he knows that he's going to get rubes in here, and he might as well sell them crap instead of something good.
Sure. I get that. I would like to find something. Does he have any books, or is it all like vases and idols?
It's all vases and stuff. No books.
Any jackal-headed things?
Yeah.
That aren't kitschy?
There's a jackal-headed bust.
How much is that? I'm interested in purchasing that. Mr. Najir, this has caught my eye. What would you be willing to part with this for?
I would take 75 British pounds.
I give it to him.
Okay. It is well below what it's worth. If it's indeed.
I probably yeah. I mean, I have a decent archaeology score. I guess I don't have a good.
Well, but you also.
I also have appraisal.
You're trained to appraise stuff, even.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's because that's what you were doing. It's well worth more than that.
About how big are we talking?
Yeah. It's probably $500 or $600 worth of an artifact. And we're assuming that pounds and dollars are equal at this time, because I don't care about
Sure.
Exchange rates.
Yeah. It's too much to work with, so we're assuming that they're exactly the same.
And it's small enough to fit in one of my pieces of luggage, I assume.
Yeah, it'll be heavy, but it'll be, because it's a solid piece of rock, but it'll fit pretty
That's
easy.
fine. I'm going to pay the man, take my bust, and thank you, Mr. Najir, for your time. You have some lovely items here, and I do hope that you have better luck than you plan to have, I suppose.
It is important to note that he does not put the money in the cash register. He leaves it he puts it on the counter with the money that Dalphus gave him, and just leaves it there.
I'm not good at it. I was gonna say, is there sleight of hand? outsides.
You broke him, and now you're gonna. You broke him. Now you're gonna steal from him.
Stop insinuating that I broke him. I did not break him. The Brotherhood broke him. Gosh.
I just reminded him he was broken.
I just triggered it because I was asking a simple question. I didn't even say what we were here for. I just said, hey.
I'm sorry. You badgered him to.
You absolutely know nothing because you heard nothing outside.
Oh, I know you, Miss Rumtree.
No. Dalphus, do you believe I badgered the man? Is that a shaking your head because you're not going to answer?
Did you address me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not hear my name in there at all.
Oh,
Sorry.
I said, Dalphus, do you believe that I badgered the man? I'm walking out by this point, by the way, with my jackal head, with my Anubis bust.
No more than was necessary.
I mean, Dalphus whipped the man's scimitar out of his hand.
You leave the scimitar, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's tangled in his bullwhip, you know. Who knows?
Dragging behind him like cars on the back of
I did that. I did. I like this thing. I'm gonna have to keep this.
So
it's
the three of you get out onto the street, and as you turn to walk away, you hear a shot from inside, and the drop of a body.
I'm just going to keep walking.
I mean, we weren't in there. I mean, everybody can see that we left. So
That's true.
I certainly hope you got whatever you needed from in there.
I hope so too, because I don't think we're getting any more.
The two Arabic speakers, could you both give me a sanity roll?
Oh.
62.
Is that a success?
Yeah.
Yeah, because his sanity's like 87.
No, it's 78.
I did not pass, and I will not spend anything to make it a pass.
You're not going to lose anything.
Mm-hmm.
But what you do feel is that if he's that worried, there is more danger here than you've been in before.
Sure. She understands that.
Okay. So that just lands pretty heavily home for you. Dalphus, you're aware of it, but it's not like it's a heavy weight on you. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's Egypt. I've been here.
When we get back to the hotel or wherever we're going next, I would say when we get back to the hotel, Jewell will not speak about things out in the open here.
Right. You head back to the hotel, probably for about the time that you're walking up to the hotel. You're noticing a lot of the shops, but not the food places, but like any shop places are closing up. Professor, you know this is normal. It's the heat of the day. This is what they do. They shut down for a couple hours at lunch.
I don't doubt that. That I do not begrudge them a few hours in the shade while this unrelenting heat bears down.
The hotel offers lunch outside in a nice shaded, like with an overhang shaded area. Will you guys be eating lunch out there and discussing this, or are you going to go back to your room?
I would like to go back to the room.
Well, eat lunch, and then I think we're never going to discuss this out in the open. There's too many ears.
Yeah. No, I absolutely. If any of you try, I will blatantly ignore you and move my sandwich and myself to another table.
You are served
or whatever I'm having. My curry.
Yes. Well, they do serve a bunch of mint tea, and even though it is warm, it is actually quite refreshing. Some other Egyptian fare, not anything out of the ordinary. And then you retire to your room, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And then you can discuss all of this?
Yeah, I would just... If any of us are feeling like we are already at our wit's end and need to not be here anymore, and she would be looking pointedly at Mr. Blackwood.
What?
I'm just saying, if you're concerned and you do not wish to continue because that man just shot himself because of what we were dealing with.
Look, I was outside.
He did not shoot himself because of anything we said to him. He shot himself because of what. I honestly was not rude to him. Or
No,
anything.
I mean, I
No,
couldn't,
no, no,
I know, I couldn't follow what you and the professor were talking
all
about,
we
but
were
you know,
trying
it was
to
very
find
civil.
out was information, and he was scared immediately
Oh, you could tell
at the
body
mention
language.
of the
I mean,
Carlyle family.
Nothing personal, but compared to a bunch of guys coming up, shooting through windows, and a lion dude coming up out of the floor, I think we did okay.
Well, I'm just saying, we're to a point where there is some. We are not in a country where we are particularly protected.
Yeah, I was very tempted to start talking about something else outside. I was like, maybe we could throw them off our trail, and I'm going to start talking about Morocco and Moroccan spice and how we picked up some spice at that spice shop in Britain, and see if we can go to Morocco and see if anybody's listening to us, and then maybe we just go to Morocco. We don't go to Morocco, but maybe they think we're going to Morocco, and maybe,
I think we need to temper our approach here, because what we dealt with in London were, I feel like, the junior brotherhood. We're dealing with now with the brotherhood that's been here for centuries.
Sure. I agree with that.
These are going to be a lot worse than Gavigan and his ilk.
I can believe that. I mean,
it's almost like they were playing at it, but this is where it's serious.
yeah, I mean, I think they thought they were, or they at least believed that they were high-ranking, but high-ranking in London is probably, the High Priestess of London is probably, or the High Priest, pardon me, is probably not nearly as scary as the High Priest of Cairo or anywhere else. But I'm just saying, if anybody is not, there's always been a question. We've always been. I mean, we've almost died a few times, or at least have been in situations where we could have. I don't know if we should.
So far,
with just the four of us, it's gonna be a hard road.
Yeah. So far, my aim's been steady, and we've made it through this far. I understand what you're saying, and I don't know.
Well,
I think I don't think there's any escaping this if I walk away. It's the best way to put it.
that's fine.
Yeah, you're always going to be looking over your shoulder until we find out. Put a stop to this.
Is there a way that I could... Is there, like, perhaps a newspaper down in the lobby of the hotel that I could have grabbed?
Yeah.
I'm going to excuse myself for a moment, and I will go down and get a newspaper.
Okay.
And bring it
You're
up.
going to make a call?
No, not yet. I am going to be looking in the newspaper for any information about the Clive expedition and this mummy theft.
There's nothing listed there about the Clive expedition's mummy theft. You do find a note or a small story, like 4 pages in, like very buried, not important. That the Clive expedition is asking for more workers.
Oh.
How far out are they?
Is there a contact? Is there a comfort?
Yeah, from the looks of it, they're looking for unskilled labor, which means locals.
Oh, okay.
It's not like that would be the expectation here, which you may or may not know, but the professor would.
Are you familiar with the Clive expedition, Professor?
Would I be, Matt?
The Clive expedition, no, not necessarily. You're familiar with Dr. Henry Clive. Let me find his information. There it is. He's in his late 50s, and he affects an aristocratic casualness.
Do we think
he's from Yorkshire, and he is an excellent archaeologist. He seems kind. And you have probably met him in passing on at least once.
But they were funded by
Penhue.
Yeah.
Penhue.
I don't think that necessarily means that they're part of it, but I think we need to keep that in mind when dealing with them.
Yeah, well, it's like either Penhew thought they were rubes and had them dig up what they wanted and then stole it.
I think that's what the Penfief was all along. It was just a front so they could get these artifacts. But not necessarily
but Aubrey went with Roger Carlyle, so it must have been at least, if that's what the Penhew Foundation does.
Well, I mean, as far as we know, Aubrey's been involved with these guys from the beginning.
No, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if that's what the Penhew Foundation does, is perhaps funds digs to find the relics that they didn't want to appropriate for that are from the reign of the Black Pharaoh or whatever. The fact that he accompanied Carlyle and is presumed dead, or is willing to be presumed dead.
Yeah, something big was going on.
Something big was going on, and Carlyle was onto something.
Yep, totally agree.
So, that said, if we reach out to the Clive expedition at all, and if Dalphus indicated that he knew Dr. Henry Clive, if we reach out to them, we need to be very careful and also find out if they have anybody on staff from the Penhew Foundation.
Right, because when we did what we did, the Penhew Foundation was being under investigation, so the purse strings have probably been cut off, too, so they just haven't realized it yet.
Yeah, or we don't know.
Well, it could be a whole lot of things. They might not even know what happened.
This could be an old ad that's just still running, too.
Yeah, but they might not even know that the Penhew Foundation, like, what happened there.
Right.
They might have no clue. Like, I'm saying that the Penhew Foundation is no more, that the Miser House is no more. You know,
well,
if they're involved.
That would be something that we would not mention.
Yeah.
And we would just ask for information about where they come. I also think that if we are going to be dealing with any other locals, that if you have a contact, Dalphus, that could accompany us to where we don't seem like we know as much, it might help.
Well, we have our man Zaid here who will guide us around.
Yeah, I think at least myself, if not you, also should not let known that we are completely fluent in Arabic.
Agreed.
Does that work? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So
yes,
just
yes,
to
it
see,
does.
to see
And
if somebody says
we
something.
should.
I mean, and honestly, it should be you, Jewell, because I mean, the professor's already known here, so they already know that he's going to be fluent.
I mean, in some
Arabic.
cases, I'm saying if we talk to locals that don't know Professor Hardgrove, if we have Zaid with us,
true,
then he looks as though he's acting as a translator.
That way we
and
can
a
hear
go-between.
him if they're telling a lie or.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm good.
Did we learn anything more about that Bassart guy?
Just that he was Carlyle's representative that was sent here to purchase a number of items from Mr. Najir that he acquired from someone named Omar Shakti, who is believed to be associated with the Brotherhood.
So Shakti's associated. Do we know where Bassart is anymore?
From what they told, from what I overheard, Roxy translating, or Roxy, what I heard Jewell tell me is that Najir said that Basset was French and he was associated with the French embassy, so we could probably follow up.
Let me go try that out.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
because
finding him was my next suggestion.
oh yeah.
Which-
You
Cause
And
wanna-
I
fluent in
think
French, right,
he
Bobby?
probably should be our next stop, is trying to find him and see what he can tell us about the Clive expedition.
yes.
Also, I have some contacts around that might be able to give us some information about what and where they're looking. When I was here with the Carter expedition, we contributed quite a bit to the museum. I don't know who's in charge of the museum now, but if it's someone that was here back then, or at least they might know what we contributed, they might be willing to help us.
That's a good lead.
And Professor,
And you know, the newspaper guys, they always got the scoop. So Mahoney seemed to be a big help to us in London.
Do they have the equivalent of the Scoop here in Cairo? Do they have is tabloids as popular?
There's really only one English newspaper, but you could definitely get information. You could all definitely contact somebody there.
But we might also, since you and the professor speak Arabic, we might, or I
Sure.
assume, be able to read some of it. We probably could
I assume that
find
the
some of the
newspaper I
local.
have. I assume that the newspaper I grabbed is in Arabic. Was that a
Oh
false
no!
assumption?
Because you're staying at an English hotel.
Okay.
I assumed it was English.
Okay,
That's
no.
not a problem. It is. You grabbed the Cairo Bulletin, which is the weekly English language newspaper.
Okay.
The Cairo Bulletin.
The Cairo Bulletin.
I assumed that since it had an ad for local unskilled labor, that it was going to be in Arabic.
No, that makes sense.
It's fine. I will be looking for an Arabic newspaper at some point just to see what the locals are
saying,
discussing, because necessarily what is interesting to American or to foreign tourists or foreign visitors may not be the same as what is affecting the locals.
Right, and it worked out with the Scoop. We got more information out of the Scoop than we did the British or the London Times
Yeah.
or the London whatever.
Yeah, the British people are uppity.
They don't like good
The
cults.
ones that we dealt with, yeah, the ones that we dealt with, they were just tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
They wanted to kill us.
Way too many paintings in their homes, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, horrible paintings.
Okay, guys. Okay, boys.
Sorry,
But
you gotta find humor where you can.
you got it. So, are you gonna go check out?
Yeah, that's
Because we had lunch, right? It's only midday. So, do you want to go check out the French embassy now?
I mean, we can split up. Bobby and I can go to the French embassy
Okay.
if you guys wanted to pursue some local contacts, because you speak French. So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you guys? Excuse me. Why don't you lads do that, and then
Stay safe. Back here by dock.
I don't
Right?
necessarily know if I'm gonna go anywhere.
Oh, well, there we go.
It's very hot. I moved to the Northeast for a reason.
yeah, and it's winter here.
Probably
It's
by the
sticky.
time you guys have got to this point, it is later in the afternoon and not as hot, but still warm.
I just don't know
I
that
would.
Jewell has
What I would like to say is splitting up the party at this point in time
not
could be
smart.
detrimental.
Okay. So I guess we'll all go to the embassy.
Never split the party.
We have split the party multiple times.
We have.
Can I get Dalphus? Can I get you to roll luck for me?
Already?
Okay.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. Hang on. Yep. Okay, I'm all right.
Okay. You run into an old contact at the embassy as you're waiting for your appointment. And as you explain to him that who you're looking for, he says, you know what? No reason for you to wait around. Let me just go get that information for you. And he comes back 20 minutes later and says that he is at the Red Door on the Street of Scorpions in the Red Alley, which is another part of the old city. It's a bazaar located along the Mezzadun Allah Street.
This is Warren that's at the.
Yeah.
So it's the Red Door off of what?
The Street of Scorpions, which I don't.
In the
like.
Red Alley.
The Red Alley is the bazaar, and the Street of Scorpions is inside the bazaar area, and the Red Door is the address, for lack of a better term.
I'll be just 100% honest. I don't much care for either of these names of places. I'm just going to throw it out there as a concerned citizen of the United States.
Yeah, I'm kind of suspicious about good old Warren here. I mean, he is. So I'm going to look at the professor's contact and be like, so that's his residence? That's where he usually is? Or.
That sounds like a place where he's spending his time.
Do we know anything about? Does the individual that we get this information from, do they know anything about that location? Is it like an opium den or something, or what is?
It would be a residence.
It is it is a residence. Okay. Well, here, All right. When we leave there, just let me know when we leave there so that I can.
Everybody armed up.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. And when we're
Well,
out of here, we'll
where
just
are
say
we
locked
leaving?
and loaded.
So where are we just
Is
now
this?
that we ran
You
into
said
his
this is
contact?
not.
This is at the French embassy,
Okay.
We're looking
Correct.
for Warren Bassart.
which he's at the Red Door off the Street of Scorpions in the Red Alley Bazaar, or the section of the bazaar.
in the Red Alley.
Yeah,
Bazaar.
once we get outside, ask just anybody. Hey, you haven't heard of the Street of Scorpions?
Well, we have Zaid with us. Do we not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I assume you do.
So
like
Dolphus. Well, I'll talk to Zaid.
How rough a place is this?
Does Zaid speak Arabic or is he speaking?
He speaks.
He'd probably speak both.
Yeah, he speaks both and French.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask him in Arabic.
Mhm.
Or English.
For the benefit of us that don't speak Arabic.
Yeah, I'll say it in English. I'll be like, Zaid, if you've got a moment, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
How familiar are you with the Red Alley?
It's a good bazaar. Not necessarily the kind of items that I would expect the professor to be looking for, but you can find many things there.
Well, I guess I'm more concerned of whether or not is it a safe place for the four of us or the five of us, but particularly the four of us that kind of stick out like a sore thumb. Is it a place that would be appropriate for us to go, perhaps in the evening?
As long as it's not too late at night, there's some food areas there that I could point you to better locations to get similar food. What makes you think that it wouldn't be safe?
Well, I don't know. I know that we had got some information, or were at least under the impression that the Street of Jackals would be a bad part of town to be at after dark. And is the Street of Scorpions at all similar? Scorpion sounds just a mite more menacing to me as a foolish American.
You're from the south of the United States, yes?
Very, very long ago, very originally, yes.
So you have swans there, right?
We do.
And do you have some sort of wilderness creatures like a cat, maybe a lion?
We don't have lions, but we have things like coyotes, or but we have bobcats.
Yeah, so
Pumas, if you will.
This would be similar to your American streets being called the Bobcat Street. It means nothing.
Okay.
There are no bobcats on that street.
Well,
There are no scorpions here.
we
it
tend
makes
to,
sense when you put it that
it
way.
does.
Yeah, it
We
makes
tend
sense.
to name our streets after trees.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Well, no tree. He kind of motions around. Very few trees.
This is true, and you don't have.
This is like the
I would
greatest epiphany I've
say-
ever had.
I would say the old city is always dangerous to foreigners who are not careful. Any part of it,
No, we're
especially
careful, that's
without
for sure.
without a guide.
Well,
I
we
will
have
be able
you.
to keep you out of the more dangerous areas.
That's fair.
And you'll be able to keep us out of those dangerous areas, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Because we are, if not anything, careful. Most of the time.
At least from now on.
I think that I don't understand this. I don't think I understand this. We're careful. I thought it was called paranoid.
Well, I mean, we're well into that as well. You are quite astute and very keen in your assessment of us as a group. But yeah, so we would like to go there next. Can we go to the Red Alley?
Say
Yes.
paranoid, I say live.
Yeah, he takes you kind of straight there. You wind your way through some streets, and you could tell when you went the first time why it's dangerous here. It's easy to get turned around. He just happens to know the way. You do come to the sole red door along the Street of Scorpions. It opens
Reminds
into a clothing shop, which is also a residence. And a man named Abu Udray greets you. He says, "Welcome to my shop. How may I help you?"
I'm going to speak English to Zaid. I'm just letting the group know, not out loud, I'm just letting you guys out of character know that I'm speaking English to Zaid. And I'm going to be... What did he say?
He repeats himself in English.
Oh.
Welcome up. How may I help you? My name is...
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. It's such a beautiful country. I wish I could hear as fast as I take in all the wonderful sights. What do you know of individual by the name? Why am I doing all the talking, y'all? Why? Because you can't speak here. I'm sorry, this is a Roxanne revelation. Why am I doing all the talking? We were directed here looking for Mr. Bassart, associated with the French embassy.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Mr. Bassart.
Warren Bassart?
Warren?
I'm not familiar with him at all. You all can roll psychology.
Uh-oh.
Nope.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I got it too.
Shoot, no, rolled the... No.
I got 11 under 20.
I got a
Make
73
sure you
out of
mark
20.
those.
I'm marking it.
He is clearly lying to you. He even glances at a curtained archway at the back of the shop when he says he has no idea about Warren. And it's pretty clear that he's just a really bad liar.
And in Arabic, I say, you are as bad of a liar as some of the best men I've ever seen. So, where is Mr. Bassart, good sir?
Mr. Bassart is not well.
I start to casually walk towards the curtain.
Allow me to take you to him. And he kind of puts himself in front of you, but not to stop you, just so that he feels like he has control over it. And lead you.
I take out a
Good.
handkerchief and cover my mouth and nose just in the event that he really isn't well.
Sure.
And not just hooked up to some opium drip.
Yeah, so he pushes the curtain aside. There's a small door, and he opens it, and it is a tiny room. And I mean tiny, like it's maybe 5.5 feet deep and maybe 5.5 feet wide. It is a tiny, tiny little room, and there is a mattress on the floor that is kind of stuffed, and then a small table, and you see a man in appropriate Egyptian wear. I don't know how to pronounce the word, so I'm not going to try it.
That's fine.
DJELLABA, with his hood pulled over his face, and he is holding an opium pipe, and it could not smell more like opium in there.
Okay, well, I do not wish to get high immediately. Maybe later, but Mr. Bassart, hate to.
Actually, can you give me a spot hidden?
Success. Normal, 73.
I
Success.
got a hard success on that. I got 19 under 73.
So he is wearing very clearly European shoes. You can see his face in the hood, and is sunken and pale with a scruffy blonde beard. He's definitely European. And when you call out his name, he stirs a little. He says, "What do you want?"
We need to talk to you, sir.
Yeah, Jewel's gonna let the men talk.
Why? Why do you need to talk to me?
For why do you talk to me?
Because you have a problem, good sir.
Yeah.
This is an intervention.
This is an intervention, Mr. Bassart.
I'm keeping an eye on the shopkeeper.
Sure.
We just need some information.
I don't have any information. About what?
About the Clive expedition.
He doesn't. I don't know anything about the Clive expedition.
Come now. We know that's not true.
Did you mean the Clive expedition?
It's Carlyle.
Carlyle expedition. He didn't have anything to do with the Clive expedition, David.
Yes, sorry. That's what I meant.
That's fine. That's fine. That's why. When you say Carlyle, his eyes go wide and he tries to bolt out of the room.
Well, he's stoned.
All four kind of right
I will
there.
trip him. He's stoned.
You corral him pretty quick. Can I get a intimidation roll from one of you?
Who's the intimidator?
I've got
Jewell?
35, so not great.
I'm only a 21.
I can try and roll it at 35.
What is my intimidate? No, mine's only 15. Jeez.
All right. You want me to try it, Roxy, or do you want to?
I'm gonna go ahead and let you do it.
41.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got it either.
Did you want to do anything with that?
Did you want to lower it to
Have
35?
a 35 and you only rolled a 41. That's pretty close.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll go ahead and spend the 6 points.
Okay. So as you guys kind of stop him, Lockhart, you push him pretty hard back down onto the bed, and just say, "The Carlyle expedition, please." And he begins to snivel and says, "Prep, guys, because this is a long ass statement."
All right.
A lawyer contacted me. I agreed to act as a purchasing agent for Mr. Carlyle, Mr. Roger Carlyle of the United States. I'm sorry. Everything he's saying doesn't come out like this. It comes out through a thick haze of him clearly being high. Who was represented to me as a wealthy American. On written instructions from Mr. Carlyle, I purchased certain artifacts from Faraz Najir, an antiques dealer, and illegally shipped them out of Egypt to Sir Aubrey Penhew in London. I know the artifacts were ancient, but I don't know anything more about them. When the Carlyle expedition came to Egypt, I arranged for all their equipment and permits. Their main site was at Dashur, in the area of the Bent Pyramid. One day at Dashur, Jack Brady came to me and told me that Carlyle, Hypatia Masters, Sir Aubrey, and Dr. Huston had entered the Bent Pyramid and then vanished. Brady was excited and suspected foul play since the diggers already had fled the site and work had come to a standstill. We did not know what to do, so we drank. The next morning, Carlyle and the others reappeared. They were excited by some tremendous find, but what it was they would not say, nor did I learn, for Sir Aubrey was a fiend for secrecy. All of them had changed in some inexplicable way, not for the better. I did not ask further. That evening, an old Egyptian woman visited me. She said that her son had been one of the diggers. She said the diggers had fled because Carlyle and the others had consorted with an ancient evil, the messenger of the Black Wind. She said she could recognize that the souls of all the Europeans, but Brady and myself, were lost. If I wanted proof, I should go to the collapsed pyramid at Medum, at the time when the moon is slimmest, the night before the dark of the moon. God help me. I went. I took one of the trucks, pretending to leave for a night in the pleasure quarter of Cairo, but instead I drove the 20 miles to Medum and secreted myself where she advised. There, in the midnight blackness, I saw Carlyle and the others disport themselves in obscene rituals with 100 madmen. The very desert came alive, crawling and undulating towards the ruins of the pyramid. To my horror, the stone ruins themselves became a skeletal, bulging-eyed thing. Strange creatures emerged from the sand, grasped the dancers, celebrants, and one by one tore out their throats, killing all until only the Europeans and one other robed celebrant remained. Something more loomed out of the sand, the size of an elephant, but with 5 separate shaggy heads. Then I realized what it was, but it is madness to speak it. I saw it rise, and in a great ravening swallow, I saw it rise, and in a great ravening swallow as one, all the torn corpses and their hideous murderers, leaving alive only 5 people amidst the stench of blood-soaked sand. I fainted. When I recovered, I wandered into the desert. There further horrors awaited me. Stumbling up a rise before dawn, I saw beyond hundreds of dark sphinxes, rank upon rank, draw up and waiting for the hour of madness when they would spring and to devour the world. I fainted once again, and this time I left the world for many months. A man found me. For 2 years, he and his mother cared for me. Me, a man mindless, and returned. I came back to Cairo, but I began to dream. Only hashish and opium helps me now. My supply is low again, and my life is intolerable. Will you, gentlemen and lady, help me, please, with the contribution? Only the strong drugs keep me from insanity. Everything is lost. There's no hope for any of us. Everywhere they wait. Perhaps you'll join me for a pipe.
Well, no.
The moon was slimmest. I got that part, and I forgot the rest.
Roxy, I can't hear you.
Yeah, your volume's...
Sorry about that. I was going
okay.
to do something. Can you repeat the part where the moon was slimmest? Actually,
Sure.
There's a handout for this, right?
Yeah, number 31.
We can go ahead and just let our viewers take a gander
The
at
night
it.
before the dark of the moon.
Night before the dark of the moon. Okay.
That's a Led Zeppelin song.
Isn't that the dark side of the moon? Oh, wait, no, that's Pink Floyd. I'm so confused.
I need
confused.
everybody to give me a sanity check.
Dun, dun, dun.
What handout was it? Did you say 19?
Oh my gosh, I
31.
passed.
31.
Oh, buggers.
I don't care. Oh, wow.
There you go.
We'll just leave this up for a couple
I
seconds.
rolled 100 on my sanity check.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Ooh, I
If
rolled
you
a
failed. Go ahead.
I rolled a 7. That's under my sanity
Nice.
level.
I'm going insane.
If you failed, you lose 1. If you succeeded, you lose none.
Yes!
So I'm only losing one of my critical failure.
Nothing happens.
That's just the one then?
Yep.
Okay.
Has the shopkeeper reacted to this story at all?
I don't think he's in there with us. Is
I
he?
was watching him.
The shopkeeper when he started his story, wandered off.
Yeah, I was going to keep an eye on him.
Back towards the front of the store. He just goes back to the front of the store as though he doesn't want to hear it again.
Okay.
He doesn't alert anybody. He just goes back to the front of the store.
All right.
I'm going to reach into my wallet and pull out some cash to give to him.
Yeah, I mean, I would be willing to donate to his drug fund if he needed it.
Okay.
Because I honestly would need it.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, well, Bobby, I guess that shows that Aubrey probably was a decent person at one time.
The woman that told me of the evil ceremony, her name is Niti, and her son was Unba. They live in El Wasta, a Nile town south of Medam.
What was the son's name again? I'm sorry.
Unba, Unba.
I don't know why, guys. I got a note because something he said jostled my memory, and I've actually got a note written on the back of one of my little flyers, and I don't know why, but it's he said something about black winds.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said something about black winds to us before, and it had to do with something like John Stone. And I'm looking at a note.
Yeah, messenger of the black wind is what this man just said.
Yeah, but
It does seem
John
a little.
Stone Coriata or something like that.
So what you know is there's a mountain in Kenya called the Mountain of the Black Winds.
That's right.
And so
So the messenger, and that's the mountain that's in the painting that we took, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
What was the woman's name again?
Niti.
Niti, Nyti.
It's funny what you write down, actually. Yeah. My character's not that way, unfortunately.
Bobby remembers things visually. That's why he has a camera.
Yep.
So, I mean, we have leads. I don't think we're going to get anything more out of poor Warren. I think he's
Warren's
done in.
Yeah, no, he's done. Man. What do you do? I mean, we got so many leads here. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, I don't either, because I mean we can try and talk to Omar Shaki. That might not be a good idea. We could follow up with Niti and her son to see how dangerous this really is.
Well, I mean, who's to say that they just took care of him to get him back to...
Well, she was the one that sent him out to observe what was going on.
Yeah, so she knows.
She knows about it.
She could tell us specifically where to go.
Yeah. Or she could even tell us.
Might also have more information too.
Right.
Well, okay. So I misunderstood. I thought a mother and son. Was that she sent him out?
That's a separate people that did not get named.
Okay, so the mother and son that rehabilitated him did not get named.
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I misunderstood. Is
Right.
because there was another mother and son.
Right.
And so that's who I thought the name was. But yeah, there was another woman. I mean, we can. How far away did you say that was?
If you go to Alwasta, which is where the mother and son are, it's a couple. It's not far. The problem is getting up the Nile. There's a couple of ways to do it, and each one has different reasons to use it or not. You could get a car. It's going to be a couple of days. You could go by train. It'll be a little quicker. Or you could go by boat, which is the fastest.
Okay.
Boat.
Yeah, definitely boat.
Well, if we're going up the Nile, do we want to stop at that cotton plantation?
The cotton plantation is the opposite direction, but it's still not that far out of the direction.
Yeah, we
What
could
time
actually
of day is
go
it
up
now?
to the cotton plantation and then just scoot on
It's
down.
got to be night by now.
No, yeah, you're looking at around dinner time, about the time that shops are going to start closing.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zaid, can you show us one of those places that you mentioned that has comparable food but better? Not here.
Yeah. He heads back to kind of where the old and new city kind of merge together. And he puts you in a small place. It's definitely one of those places that only locals know about, and only locals are there. You hear a lot of Arabic talking, but he sits you down and orders food with you. He sits and eats with you. If you carry on conversation, he's relatively friendly, but it's also clear that you're his employers and he's acting as such.
Sure. Do I hear anything of interest in the talking around me?
Roll luck. That's a good question. I like that question.
Okay. I think I got it. I rolled a 26. Yeah, and my luck is currently 57.
You hear a couple of men talking briefly about people from the Clive expedition going missing in the desert, and that's why they're looking for more people.
Okay. Refresh my memory, Keeper. Do we know where the Clive expedition is working? Oh, no, because it's still happening. Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah. You know exactly where it's at. It was vague in the description I gave you, but it's essentially Memphis, which is also on the way to El Wasta.
Okay, so it's not far.
El Wasta is essentially the farthest point south on the Nile that is listed on the map. Or take that back. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It is. Dashur is going to be between El Wasta and Cairo, and then the ruins of Memphis are closer to Cairo than Dashur.
Okay, so if I were, and they're all south?
Yes, everything is essentially going to be south.
Okay, so if I'm going south, it's Cairo, Dashur.
It's Cairo,
Then Memphis.
Dashur, Medum is next, and then El Wasta.
And then El Wasta. Okay, and the mother and son are in El Wasta.
Yeah.
And Dashur was where the Carlyle expedition was, and Memphis is where the Clive expedition is.
That's correct. Professor, You know that Memphis is going to contain a lot of artifacts from the Third Dynasty.
Oh, and so that's why when the guy said that the 12th Dynasty, it just didn't seem right for that to be found there.
Correct. Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, but definitely not the 12th.
Okay, interesting.
So,
Well, I don't want to talk about it at dinner.
no,
Right.
I understand that.
But when we get back to our room, I'm gonna ask Dalphus if he's ever heard of the bent pyramid. Oh, and I'm wondering if I've ever heard of the bent pyramid in my
Are we talking about the famous bent pyramid?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a famous site,
Yes.
and it was famous at that time. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's called the Bent Pyramid because unlike every other pyramid that's perfect, it leans. It's built to not come to a direct point. It is off.
Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. Snifferoo, right?
Snifferoo, yeah.
Nefaru. Well, yeah, sure.
Sniffer.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Sniffy-roo.
Schnurf, schnurf.
I had something else I was gonna ask, and I don't recall what it was.
If I remember correctly,
Oh, it is Cattywampus.
it's one of the first pyramids built, and he planned to be super, super big, but he either ran out of materials or ran out of time as they got towards the top, and they had to change the angle of it as they got towards the top, so they built the top of it much more shallow at that angle. That's why it has the bent appearance near the top.
John and I are looking at a picture. It is wonky as heck.
Yeah.
Let me just Google that.
Interesting.
I'm going to pop a link into the chat.
Yeah. Do that so everyone can see.
Why
Share with the class.
Is the bent pyramid bent?
So I know that answer.
It's because the messenger.
It's because
of the
the northern
Black
face is steeper than the other three.
Interesting.
Did we want to discuss anything? I mean, do we want to go try to talk to the Clive expedition?
It's on the way. It wouldn't hurt. I mean, it's on the
it
way.
was
so.
to avoid structural collapse. Not okay. I thought it was time or material running short, but I was wrong.
No, someone made a mistake.
Yeah, they
Someone
just
didn't
didn't
carry the
plan it.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, so what would you gentlemen... I mean, I don't know. We are running up on close time anyway, but what would you gentlemen like to do?
I guess we gotta say, going to the plantation yet doesn't make sense because that's where we know we're going into.
Well, we don't really have any direct connection to that yet.
Well, other than just.
Well,
that's
other
where-
than that, he's suspected to be part of the Brotherhood.
Yeah, I don't really want to go kicking that.
That's what I said. I don't want to. I
Okay,
don't
then
want
let's
to go.
avoid there unless we have to.
We learned quite a bit today. We might just want to go back to our room and regroup and go over our information and make some notes.
We're talking about this in our room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are not talking about this at dinner. I don't want anybody
Or in front
to hear
of,
that. Or in front of Zaid. As
Zaid.
much as I believe, I trust you to have to trust him. I just to be safe because we have wandered into some crap.
I think we ought to
late.
write most of this out, like the connections from.
Do I need to get my twine out? Because I got some in Paris.
Put us together a big board.
No,
On the wall of our
hear,
hotel.
hear me out on this.
I'm not joking.
Writing out the connections between the Penhew Foundation and what's going on here, specifically this one, the guy at the cotton plantation.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
And the links between the two, because the guy, that one guy said that if the British consulate thinks that there is a threat here, they will step in.
How many people were at the? How many people were in the?
I mean, that's what the guy said,
expedition?
right?
Yeah, that's what he said.
So let's get the information together and let them go kick that anthill.
How many people, Keeper, were in the Carlyle expedition? Was it 6?
It's a solid question. I'm pretty sure 6. That includes Brady.
Yeah, Brady, Penhew, Huston, Masters, Carlyle,
Sure.
Mweru, and I feel like I'm missing
I'm
somebody.
sorry. Yes. So.
Was it 7?
No, there's 6. Huston, Penhew, Masters, Carlyle, Brady, and Mweru.
Okay. So I'm just interested because there were 5 people left after whatever he saw. Right? Didn't he say that?
Mm-hmm.
There were 5 people. He swallowed everybody but 5.
4 foreigners and 1 other.
Did it say that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes,
Specifically.
it did.
And Erica Carlyle identified bodies, did she not?
She identified something.
Right. But
I know that's real vague, but yes, she identified something.
Sure, but yeah, I'm just going by what Jewell would remember from the newspaper clippings. And then he also indicated that he felt that they were inexplicably changed. And Aubrey and so it was Penhew, Masters, Huston,
So keeping
and
in mind that
Carlyle
Masters, Aubrey, and Huston
all went in and disappeared for a day.
right,
You
we're
know,
missing one person. Imwero did not go with them.
That
And Ware
lady.
did not go with them.
The lady.
And neither did Brady. Well, it's somebody.
The
yeah.
lady.
Yeah.
The one that
Roger's friend.
yeah, the lady that was always talking to him that Miss Carlyle talked about, and
Yeah.
I've just said her name 5 times.
I'm
Imweru is her
Oh,
name. Imweru was the African woman.
what about the
Yeah. Hypatia Masters.
what about the
Yep.
assistant that ran the herb store?
Did Hypatia Masters run an herb store?
No. The guy in England,
Al Said.
Al Said or whatever.
Oh, Tufik Al Said?
Yeah. What about him? Maybe because he was also involved in all this. He was.
Yeah, but I don't think Gavigan wasn't
Tufik didn't
there.
go on
I think
the
they were pulled into this.
I think they're just London people.
Well, then it's either that or it's the guy at the plantation.
I don't think any of these guys went to it, personally.
Well, there's definitely a 5th.
Well, sure. But it could be somebody else. I mean, it could be Omar Shakti, sure. But what I'm saying is 4 people went into the pyramid and did not come back out for a day. Or at least long enough for Brady to come back to Warren and tell him that they had went in and hadn't come out yet. And then the next morning they came out, and Warren believed that they were different on some type of level. So I'm just going to throw out there that even though we have evidence that Penhew is alive, I mean, we don't know what we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
And it might not be the Penhew that started on the expedition. And he could have. I mean, we don't know. We never got any information or anything out of Gavigan or anything that like what were in the ledger, Matt, that we looked at?
Mm-hmm.
In the ledger, were there dates for those shipments?
Looking to give you that answer. Give me just a second.
That's fine. I'm just trying to figure out if we have any indication that this was operating in London prior to the Carlyle expedition, or if perhaps
there were dates going back 3 years.
which is post the Carlyle expedition, because they died in
6 years ago. Yeah.
So there's a chance that whatever happened to Aubrey in there made him is what started the cult in London.
Agreed. But I think we need to remember that Erica said that Roger himself had always been unstable.
Sure, so he attracted unstable people.
I still think I don't. Yeah, see, I think Aubrey was still of his right mind till he went into that pyramid.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that Roger is still, or at least, how do you say her name?
Hypatia.
Imweru are still the powers to be reckoned with. That
maybe, but
the answers are there.
we have no evidence where she is. At
No,
least at
we
this
don't.
point, or that she's been seen.
I mean, we don't even have evidence that Roger's still alive. We just know that 2 people that are assumed dead are still alive.
Sure, and one of them went into the pyramid and seems to be on the hunt for the one that did not.
Right.
So I'm just saying I am reiterating my fears from earlier that there is something far darker going on here than
agree.
just a cult. I mean, once Dalphus made the connection with everything else, and then we have been met with nothing but bulging eyes and lies and fear since we've walked in mentioning anybody associated with the Carlyle expedition.
So let's build. Did you like my idea though? I mean,
Your idea was to go to the plantation?
no.
Well, please repeat your idea. I don't remember. We've talked a lot tonight.
No, I said that let's
Oh, do all the connections?
let's get some
Sure.
proof of the connection from the Penhew Foundation to what's going on here, and let the British consulate and their garrison here take care of that.
So part of the problem with that,
He's done a twine board. My only issue is bringing in the. I think they're gonna think that we're crazy.
I think if that's the way we go, we talk to the inspector from Scotland Yard. Since he already has some information with us, he might be able to leverage some help with the consulate.
But if he knows where we are, he could have us arrested.
Again, we give that information as we're scooting out.
No, only.
you are outside of his jurisdiction.
Yeah, he doesn't care what's happening here.
And as long as we don't go inside the British consulate, they can't arrest us.
Hypothetically,
let's table that. Let's table the British consulate whatsoever. We can discuss this more next week, but
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Roxanne doesn't think bringing the British consulate in is a good idea. I know it sounds safe, but I think it sounds also like we're going to get committed.
So we are going to take a break here for the night. Matt, they went and talked to Warren. They've talked to Faraz. Faraz is dead. That's important.
Poor Faraz.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That you guys did a lot, but not a lot. You did a lot of prepping and a lot of worrying, which is okay. It's a fantastic way to play this game.
And for once, we didn't kill anybody again.
Well,
and no one got hurt.
Yes.
Well,
No one we care about.
Yeah, nobody important.
except for poor Faraz Najir.
I mean,
And
just none
whose
of us
fault
got
was
hurt.
that?
So, hey, John.
I resent that insinuation.
What's up, bud?
Next week, what's going on in Growing Shadows next week?
So next week we find out who our next two chosen are for the passing their ninja test, becoming the next rank of ninjas. And we should hit our next milestone, which will be 100 followers on our Facebook.
I think we're there.
We also picked up a new partnership with Paradise Anime in Houston, Texas, and they are displaying a sign for us on their window to their store. So we appreciate them. Yeah.
Fantastic. And where are they at in Texas?
They're in Houston, Texas, over off of Jones Road, but they are probably, I think, at this point, like the anime place in Houston. I don't know too many others that specifically deal with that.
And yes, you have hit your 100 follower mark.
Sweet.
On Facebook. So that's fantastic. A couple of things. We've got another podcast going on over at nerdsdom.com and passionerdly.com. Check those out. And what's the other thing? We will be back in 2 weeks. We've got 2 more games of the first season of this. And then in May, we will still be doing something on stream during those nights, but we're going to take a break for about a month just to give everybody a chance to breathe. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this game's a little intense. So there has been a request to breathe just a smidge. So we're going to get through the first 12 episodes, take a month break, and then we'll be back with episodes 1 through 12 for season 2. We're going to keep playing this Masks of Nyarlathotep story. I think it's going great. I don't know how the players think it's going.
Oh, I love it so far.
I
I'm
think
having
it's
a great
going
time.
good.
I'm enjoying not knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Being in Egypt and having the
Fantastic.
language barrier is like different for me too, because I'm like, okay, everybody with Arabic speak. I can't do nothing.
Wait till you guys go somewhere where nobody speaks the language. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. And don't forget, if you have not subscribed to our channel, now is the time. It's only $5, or if you're a if you're a Amazon Prime member, it's free, and you should definitely do that because it helps us quite a bit. And the intent is to put the money in the pockets of the people that are starring on these, so that they have a chance to enjoy their time and also get paid for it.
Getting paid for this?
Because we'd all like to be. Hypothetically, if we get more people to subscribe, we're getting paid for this. But honestly, we would all like to be. We do put a lot of time and effort. I know that there have been a lot of backstories written and a lot of thoughts given to this outside of the regular gaming time, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So if you like what you're seeing, subscribe. We are currently Roxy, you said 7 subscribers.
Yeah, I actually think we might be up to 8 because Shawn re-upped his subscription right as the show started. So
No, I re-upped my subscription.
oh, you just announced it, so
Yeah,
then
when
we
I
are still at 7.
Yeah, when I logged in, it was like, announce that
Okay.
you're a consecutive subscriber. And I'm like, okay.
Okay, yeah. So we're probably sitting at 7.
And then also keep in mind, if you've got friends that you think might like this, tell them. Tell your friends.
Please
Tell
do.
your family. Tell your family's dogs.
Run and tell that.
Dogs can watch this. Yeah. Listen, we hear that people aren't going to be able to go very far for a couple of weeks. It's a great time to watch all of our streams and catch up. You can catch us
And
over
they're
at
all
YouTube.
they're all on YouTube.
And link is in our description below. Roxy, is that correct?
It
or
is,
that
yeah.
not there yet?
If you go down there, you can find a link to our Facebook and a link to our YouTube. That's all that's down there at the moment. I'm still deciding how the rest of that needs to look, but it'll get you to the important places where you can find all of us, and of course on our right below us down here in the nameplates, you can see our social media handles. Most of us are on Twitter. I believe those are our Twitter handles. Some of us are even on Instagram under those handles. So please just...
If you want to look me up on Instagram, it's just _ between Bink and 26.
And 26, yeah. But I am the same everywhere. John is the same everywhere. So if you guys want to hassle us, please do. But yeah, we'll be back next week with Growing Shadows and episode 5.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for watching, and we will talk to you in a fortnight.
In a fortnight.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Stay home if you feel sick. All right.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yep. We'll see y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.